These are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. A SWAT team officer was injured while attempting to arrest a woman in St. Louis City. I've got that story coming up.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. The largest budget in Illinois state history passed early Monday morning.
A lot of the big changes were really on the revenue side, not so much on the spending side.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. Some reminders on how to try to keep your summer tick-free. The story is coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly sunny today with lower humidity, the high 82.
And we have lots of sports to talk about, including this Cardinals-Rangers series that went Texas way the first game.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The death toll in Ukraine rising after a fresh round of Russian drone and missile attacks. At least 17 people have been killed, and there are fears the death toll could go higher as search teams get into the rubble of buildings. More violence in Lebanon, despite President Trump saying both Israel and Hezbollah promised him the shooting would stop. The Israeli defense formulation this morning saying that rocket and drones fired toward northern Israel were intercepted. Lebanese state media reporting 3 Israeli attacks in southern Lebanon. Here's ABC's Melissa Adan.
Iran threatening to cut off negotiations entirely after Israel again targeted southern Lebanon. But President Trump saying he thinks he will have a deal to extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz with Iran over the next week.
The Justice Department now says it will comply with a court order freezing the so-called anti-weaponization fund. Police in Iowa say a man killed 6 members of his own family before taking his own life. This is ABC News. New information coming in about health screenings at airports ahead of the World Cup, which really gets underway next week amid the Ebola outbreak in Central Africa. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
The games are expected to draw up to 7 million visitors to the U.S., raising concern about the possible spread of Ebola from Africa. Confirmed cases in the DR Congo have jumped more than 20% in a single day. But one aid group warns the outbreak may be much larger, pointing to delays in detection and limited contact tracing. Americans returning from the DRC, Uganda, and South Sudan must now re-enter the U.S. through 4 designated airports for mandatory screenings.
A teenage girl competing in a barrel racing event arrested over the weekend after she allegedly stabbed 3 competition horses with a pocket knife at a barn in Las Vegas. The 17-year-old girl has been booked on 15 counts of animal maiming. The horses were treated and are all expected to be okay. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02. And right now we have mostly sunny skies. It's a breezy morning, 63 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The budget battle between city police and St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer continues, with the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners announcing a $2.3 million proposal to increase staff salaries last night. The move would increase the salaries of lieutenants by 16%, captains by 18%, majors by 20%, lieutenant colonels by 22%. It would also give professional staff employees a 4% raise, something the city police say is necessary to retain the small number of staff they currently have.
In a statement, Mayor Kara Spencer called the move incredibly irresponsible, saying it would have major impacts on both the police department and the overall city budget. The proposal is expected to be taken up at tomorrow's Board of Police Commissioners meeting at 9 a.m. If approved, those salary increases would take effect on July 1st of this year.
An early morning shooting brought homicide detectives to downtown St. Louis. Took place at Howard and 13th earlier this morning. A male victim who has not been identified publicly yet was transported to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. Fox 2 reports he's in critical and unstable condition. This is a breaking story. We will keep you updated as new information is released.
A woman is in custody, an officer injured after a standoff that involved the St. Louis City SWAT team. St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says officers attempted to stop a woman who was driving erratically when she attempted to ram a marked car, produced a hammer, and then sped off.
McCoy says she stopped shortly after in the parking lot of an apartment on South Grand near Russell and barricaded herself.
While additional officers were responding, the woman was putting different things on the windshield and glass windows, blocking any type of viewpoint from inside that vehicle.
McCoy says when the SWAT team approached, the woman reversed the vehicle into one of them, pinning him against the building. McCoy says the officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The woman was taken into custody shortly after. She has not been identified.
Ameren, Illinois, notifying customers of a rate increase effective June 1st. Ameren, Missouri, requesting a new fuel adjustment rate to also take effect on June 1st.
Last summer, KMOX reported on what Ackerman, Missouri called a 12% increase, but many customers reported their bills more than doubled. Retail Energy Advancement League's Abby Foster says Missouri's legislature failed to pass any legislation making energy affordability bills for this year. But in 2025, lawmakers swiftly passed Senate Bill 4, which overturned the long-standing policy that now allows investor-owned utility companies to charge customers for the construction of new power plants before the construction of the plant even begins.
There definitely is going to be coming a breaking point for Missouri for electric rates. And it's not just households, as you noted, it's the economy as well. And so you have large energy users that contribute to the local and state tax base that employ thousands of customers that are seriously considering whether they want to continue to do business in Missouri because it's just not sustainable.
Foster says other states allow competition rather than a monopoly. Exactly how much Missourians will see their electric bills go up by as a result of the new fuel adjustment remains to be seen. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The challenge to Missouri's income tax phase-out is headed to a higher court. Opponents wasted no time appealing Monday's ruling that kept the measure on the August ballot, filing with the Missouri Court of Appeals the same day. They argue the proposal crams multiple constitutional changes into one question and that voters are being given misleading ballot language. The clock is ticking because the vote is set for August 4th. The appeals court must reach a final decision by June 9th.
Governor Kehoe makes the case for eliminating the income tax, saying it is an economic matter of survival. He tells 97.1 states without an income tax are growing while Missouri keeps losing residents. And he argues the state can't afford to stand still.
We have to be in a state that's competitive, where our economy can grow and our population grows. It's just like business. If you're not growing, you're dying. And Missouri is not growing right now.
A follow-up on the Westlake landfill, the Superfund site where radioactive waste was dumped in the 70s, has stressed homeowners out ever since, is getting new EPA attention. Region 7 Administrator Jim Macy says in a video release that the agency is moving forward with remediation plans.
Well, we've worked really hard to be a part of the community and to listen to the community and hear your voice and looking forward to getting this problem solved.
Excavation of the radioactive material is set to begin in 2027, which is about 2 years ahead of the original schedule. The EPA expects the full cleanup to be finished by 2038.
St. Louis City and County recognizing the start of Pride Month. Mayor Kara Spencer held a ceremony to mark the raising of the rainbow flag over City Hall.
When we work towards creating spaces in our neighborhoods, communities, and city, we are able to change hearts and minds along the way.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page was slated to hold a similar flag raising in Clayton yesterday, but it was postponed until today because of yesterday's bad weather.
It's 6:07, traffic and weather next.
Back is it. He leaps and makes a fantastic catch.
Calling all bobblehead enthusiasts. Saturday, June 6th, as the Cardinals take on the Cincinnati Reds, fans can score a Jim Edmonds bobblehead presented by Ford. This collectible captures his unforgettable home run robbing grab at the wall, a play that still gives Cardinals fans chills. Add a defensive icon to your shelf and relive a moment that defined an era. Don't miss this one. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Future Gold Glovers, this one's for you. Sunday, June 7th, the Cardinals welcome the Cincinnati Reds to Busch Stadium. And that day, kids receive a City Connect Rawlings glove presented by Rawlings. Built for playing catch all summer long, it's ready for backyard games, trips to the park, and every I got it moment. A day at the ballpark that keeps the season going. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotion.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, I've been keeping tabs on this roadwork backup on westbound Highway 70. Turns out it's not just the roadwork that's keeping things backed up. I looked at the west end of here, and I was finally able to get a view. A tractor-trailer went off the roadway. Not sure how long ago it happened, but it went behind the concrete median wall, I guess. It's off the roadway, out of the way, but they have the right lane blocked while they deal with it. So the roadwork is picked up, really. It's this tractor-trailer that has the right lane shut down now. It's westbound 70 just before you get to David Hochul Parkway. So that's why we're jammed basically back to Wentzville Parkway on westbound 70 right now. The big rig tow truck is blocking the eastbound lane of the North Service Road. He's stationed right alongside it, but it looks like another piece of heavy equipment pulled up in front of the semi. So we'll see what they do with it. They got to get it out of there, obviously, but hopefully it won't take too long. But like I said, some of this equipment, I just saw the police coming through the traffic a minute ago. So it's a unfolding situation, I guess you could say. That's the only issue we have, though, on the interstates. We're cruising along 55 coming up through the Merrimack River and that work zone. 270 at Ladue looks great. They're working on the shoulder there, but it's no big deal. In downtown, still not seeing any delays. Westbound 64 or 5570 rather, from 255 to 203. This is the hour the schedule will have it down to 2 lanes until 8 a.m. through that stretch westbound. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis, Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at uflbattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
KMOX AccuWeather, a much nicer day today than yesterday with plenty of sunshine and much lower humidity, the high 82. Mainly clear tonight, though, 59. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, high 83. Thursday, sunshine and some clouds and very warm in the afternoon, high 87. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have mostly sunny skies, a breezy morning with 63 degrees downtown.
It's now 6:12, and police are still looking for the suspect in last night's Carr Square neighborhood shooting. It happened in the 1500 block of Carr around 6:40 p.m., where a man was found with gunshot wounds. He later died in the hospital. Fox 2 reports the victim was believed to have been in his 50s.
Police are still looking for a vehicle used in a hit and run last week. City police say 37-year-old Pierre Lynch was struck by a white Mazda in the 3500 block of Gravois just after 10:30 Friday night. They say Leach was struck by the Mazda in the eastbound lanes, fell into the westbound lanes where he was hit by another car. The second driver did stay on the scene, and police found Leach lying in the roadway. He later died at a hospital. City police say they are still looking for the white Mazda CX-9, which reportedly would have damage to the front driver's side headlight and quarter panel.
As we've reported, St. Louis travelers now have more options to get to Europe. Lufthansa is boosting its St. Louis to Frankfurt service from 3 flights a week to 5 for the summer season, running through late October. Aviation analyst Mike Boyd tells KMOX's Michael Calhoun the airline wouldn't be adding flights here without the numbers to back it up.
Lufthansa averaging 94% load factors out of St. Louis. What does that tell you?
That's why they're adding a 5th flight. If you're 94%, remember, that doesn't mean there's 66% of your seats that are empty. There's 6% of the seats they probably couldn't sell due to weight and balance and other issues. So they were full.
Boyd notes that Lufthansa is facing logistical challenges elsewhere in the world, especially when it comes to fuel. So expanding in St. Louis means there's a sound business case for it.
So please meet me in the plaza near your casa.
Those words, meet me in the plaza by your house, an accurate depiction of the Hill neighborhood. The piazza is across the street from St. Ambrose, and the area is surrounded by residential and locally owned businesses.
Italian Americans immigrated to the Hill in the 1800s, and for decades, that neighborhood remained the same, but it's changing. People buy up properties, tear down a little narrow house, and replace it with a 2-story home. It doesn't exactly go with the architecture, and now the neighborhood is considering a historic designation. St. Louis Alderman Matt Devote.
A developer or a family comes in and consolidates. They buy 2 to 3 parcels. They take down those homes, they consolidate it into one, and they build something that might look more appropriate in West St. Louis County.
Devote tells KMOX's Chris and Amy the challenge for the Hill neighborhood is how do they continue evolving, bringing new families into the city, and yet not lose their identity and character. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Well, unfortunately, Italy got knocked out of the World Cup. They're not going to compete in the World Cup again, which is unfortunate. You know who they got knocked out by? Bosnia and Herzegovina. And that is good news for over 60,000 Bosnians in the St. Louis area. They'll be watching and celebrating and throwing watch parties throughout the area, and they have a little treat ahead of them this Saturday. The Bosnian team will play at Energizer Park. They're going to be taking on Panama, and Elvir Kafedzik is an assistant coach from City 2. The Bosnian native says,
I mean, obviously, this news has brought enormous joy to everyone within our community, Tom. But you could really feel the excitement, has started already building, like you just mentioned, the Italy match. But even the game before that against Wales, I mean, people were so excited, just to watch those games and support the team. And I remember specifically because of the big time difference to Europe, the games were played around 1 p.m. here St. Louis time. I remember so many people were taking off from work, even taking their kids out of school and just gathering in local Bosnian establishments to watch and support the team. I mean, the energy was something really special.
It's going to be quite a scene Saturday at Energizer Park. The Bosnian team taking on Panama in a World Cup friendly. It'll also be a big weekend for the Cardinals. They'll play the Cincinnati Reds. Here is KMOX's Matt Pauley with the latest on the Cardinals and the Rangers.
Cardinal shortstop Mason Wynn has been in a hitting slump the better part of the last month. In May, he hits .213 with only 4 extra base hits and a sub-600 OPS. As the calendar turns to June, he hits a home run in the Cardinals' 2-1 loss to the Rangers, accounting for the team's only run. Manager Oliver Marmol hopes this gets Wynn trending in the right direction.
It's a good swing there for the homer. I like the swing he took the other night with the 2 RBI single up the middle, just being able to stay on the ball. So hopefully it's something we can continue down that road as far as like just picking our spots there of when to do what. But obviously our only run today.
Wynn has hit 2 home runs this year, and both are against teams from his home state of Texas, as he hit one in Houston earlier this season. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
It was the only run scored against the Rangers last night. Jacob deGrom went 5 scoreless innings, allowing just 4 hits, walking 1, and striking out 8. He picked up his 100th career win. The Cardinals struck out 14 times last night. They'll get back at it tonight with a 6:45 start at Busch Stadium. Dustin May will make the start. Another tough one on the other side, Nathan Eovaldi pitching for Skip Schumacher's Texas Rangers. The Stanley Cup final gets started tonight. Carolina at home against Vegas. That one goes at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, they'll start the NBA Finals with the Knicks traveling to San Antonio to visit the Spurs. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:20, and that means it's time to check the roadways and the weather. The weather is going to be really nice today, so hopefully we can say the same about the traffic. Roger Brand can tell us more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, the traffic's doing all right. I mean, we're getting a little busier in spots, Debbie. This traffic reports service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Of course, the one spot we've been talking about is westbound 70 near David Hochul Parkway. A tractor trailer left the roadway, so I can't even tell if it's partially blocking from my vantage point looking into the sun, but the fact of the matter is they do have the right lane shut down because of it. Westbound 70 at David Hochul Parkway, so you're jammed back pretty close to Wentzville Parkway on westbound 70 right now. It's been static that way for a while. It looks like we have a trouble spot northbound 270 now just before you get to Gravois, possibly a lane block there. Traffic's backed up at Tesson Ferry on North 270. Other than those couple of delays, though, right now we're looking all right. I mean, 55 looks good coming up to the Merrimack through Arnold there to 141. 270 at Ladue, you're good to go on the Illinois side, 64 through 159. And they should be doing road work today, westbound 5570 between 255 and 203 and have it down to 2 lanes. But again, not seeing any delays through there right now. It's clear sailing headed across the bridges. Call over at Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
You might want to schedule some outdoor activities today. It is a fantastic day weather-wise. Mostly sunny, pleasant, lower humidity, high of 82. Tonight, mainly clear, low 59. Tomorrow, pretty much the same. Plenty of sunshine, a high of 83 degrees. A really nice week. Currently, it's 65 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. An heir to the Anheuser-Busch fortune has passed away. Adolphus Busch IV died yesterday at the age of 72. He was known mostly for his conservation work. He co-founded the Great Rivers Habitat Alliance and was passionate about wildlife conservation, including preserving the floodplains at the confluence of the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers. Funeral arrangements are pending.
With alpha-gal syndrome on the rise and the CDC reporting more tick-related emergency room visits, health experts are urging Missourians to be extra careful.
Eden Stewart, a nutrition and health specialist with University of Missouri Extension, says bug spray for your skin is important, but treating clothing with permethrin can provide added protection.
More individuals say that they live in town and they're seeing ticks in their yard. And so even if you're not in the bushiest of areas, especially in tall grass areas, if you like to hike, treating your boots, treating your hat.
Stewart tells Missouri Net to use a permethrin spray made for clothing and cover items like pants, socks, and boots. Let them dry before wearing and reapply as needed to maintain protection. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's uncertain whether last week's explosion of a commercial rocket will delay the next mission to the moon. In the meantime, researchers at Washington University in St. Louis will continue their efforts behind the scenes to help NASA's work. Dr. Jeff Gillis is a research professor of physics at WashU, working on instruments that could be used for sampling. He says his colleague Paul Byrne in Earth and Planetary Sciences is archiving data.
It's really important, that these data that we're spending, a lot of money to collect
is here for, generations to come. So he's making sure that in the planetary data system, this data is kept so that people 10, 50, 100 years from now can download the data and maybe test it in a new way and learn more about the moon.
The next phase of NASA's Artemis moon mission involved testing a landing system in orbit. Experts say that may have to be pushed back following last week's mishap at Cape Canaveral.
Dave Murray tells KMOX's Michael Calhoun, look to the sky at night this week.
Michael, we are going into a very quiet stretch of weather, and I want to make you aware of something that's going on in the western evening sky. You can't miss it. It is Jupiter and Venus being the brighter of the two. And watch them over the next couple of nights. They are going to appear to get closer and closer and will actually make conjunction come June 8th and 9th. So about a week away. It should continue to be a spectacular sight, and the weather is just about perfect.
The tent is up. The ring is under construction. It's the annual kickoff to summer, Circus Flora, St. Louis's very own circus.
So this year is our 40th anniversary at Circus Flora. We were founded in 1986. When I was 1.5 years old when we first started, and I was right there. I wasn't artistic director yet, but I am now.
That's artistic and executive director of Circus Flora, Jack Marsh. He's joined by Cecil McKinnon, the show's writer, and also Yo-Yo, the show's white-faced clown narrator. Cecil, I don't know how many people who come realize that you are a mother and son team.
Yes.
What is it like putting this show together with Jack?
Well, it's really fun. I mean, he grew up with the show as well, so he knows all the history of it. And we don't always agree, but we have different points of view. For me, it's a great, deep pleasure to work with my son.
This year's show is called Flying High, and it is a high school themed show. It's already an amplified time of life, but we're doing that much more by sending students and teachers up into the air, onto the high wire. There's some dogs, there's some horses. We're chock full of incredible stuff.
The Dog Act this year won season 7 of America's Got Talent.
Some familiar faces for longtime Circus Flora fans, the Flying Walendas on the high wire, Circus Harmony's St. Louis Arches, and then some really incredible new performers that have never been with us before. Elaine Kramer is this magnificent contortionist and hand balancer. She can balance herself by her teeth and shoot a bow and arrow with her feet. For the first time in the history of Circus Flora, we are going to shoot someone out of a cannon. We can't really fit in the big top, big as it is. So we're bringing that to the midway during the intermission of the show.
And there are plenty of special nights during Circus Flora's run.
We have a preview Thursday night, peanut-free preview, so that no one will have any possible allergy.
Friday, June 12th at 1 p.m. is our sensory-friendly show, so we make some slight adjustments to the production to accommodate those with different sensory needs.
There's also Pride Night with a special after-show prom on June 12th. And another thing, those who perform in the circus would love it if people would stop referring to political chaos in Washington as a circus.
A circus, as you look at all the people working here, everyone's working as hard as they can to a common goal, doing different things. And it is very organized in its own way.
The circus brings joy, says Cecil.
We need it, and we need to work together.
Circus Flora, under the big top in Grand Center, June 4th through the 21st.
It's 6:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Well, I do love Circus Flora, and they do have dogs in the show this year. And often in dog acts, did you know that they're often shelter dogs? Maybe even from the Humane Society of Missouri. I don't know that about this particular dog team, but I'm just saying there is just something about shelter dogs. Having had 2 of them myself already in my lifetime, they are incredible pets. And the Humane Society of Missouri does so much every day, not just in the St. Louis region, but all across the state, to help dogs, cats, and other animals, farm animals, to get a second chance on life and find a forever family where they're cared for. That takes a lot of money because the Humane Society doesn't get government money. And if you would like to help in a very fun way, get involved in Purses for Pooches. It's coming up Thursday, June 18th from 6 to 8 at the Humane Society of Missouri. It's cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and a chance to win one of dozens of gorgeous designer purses, Louis Vuitton's, Gucci's, Jimmy Choo's. Some of these handbags are worth thousands of dollars, and all the proceeds, of course, benefit the Humane Society of Missouri's Animal Cruelty Task Force, which is dedicated to intervening for animals at risk. So you can get more information at hsmo.org. It's the Humane Society of Missouri.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
We have a clear sky and 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our original jam out there, folks, on westbound Highway 70. You're still bumper to bumper from basically to Westfield Parkway, most of the way to David Hokel Parkway. A tractor trailer went off the roadway in the work zone, so they have the right lane shut down, and then that's the reason why this jam is still out there on westbound 70. It's not impacting eastbound 70 at all. You're fine there. Southbound 61, a couple of slow spots from Highway P down to 64. It's not terrible. They did clear that crash. It was a single vehicle crash I mentioned last time up North 270 just before Gravois. Traffic is now slow, 55 to Tesson Ferry, then it's opening up, so it's getting better since they got that out of the traffic lanes off. I think they put it off at the exit there to Gravois. Northbound 55 starting to slow down a little bit, approaching the Church Road overpass up through 141 to the Merrimack River, and that's construction zone. Illinois side still looks okay. 64 clear through 159, and no issues coming across the Poplar or Mutual Veterans Bridges so far. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny and pleasant, low humidity today, high 82, mainly clear, low 59 tonight. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine with a high of 83. It's sunny and 66 downtown at the Arch.
Missouri abortion laws are now in the spotlight as a major court case begins this week.
A trial scheduled today in Kansas City will determine which abortion regulations remain in place under Missouri's voter-approved reproductive rights amendment. The case stems from a lawsuit filed by Planned Parenthood and the ACLU of Missouri challenging existing restrictions. The outcome will decide how state laws align with the amendment going forward. Matt Pilger, Missouri Next.
KMOX continues monitoring electric rate increases. We've reported in the past on the hardships for people with skyrocketing electric bills, and now you can add fuel prices. This could be a very difficult summer for many people. And according to the Retail Energy Advancement League, your electricity bills are going up again. That's because, despite bipartisan support, Missouri's legislature didn't pass any energy affordability bills. Abby Foster at Real says in Missouri, electric rates have risen 5th fastest in the country.
And there were actually several bills introduced. One in particular type of bill would have broken up the utility monopoly so that when they're building new power plants and selling electricity, there has to be competition.
Foster says, tell your lawmakers this is not okay. But of course, this year's session has ended. Foster is warning Ackerman will be applying for another rate increase soon, in addition to a new fuel adjustment rate that takes effect on June 1st. Ackerman, Illinois has already told customers a rate increase took effect June 1st.
Mayor Kara Spencer raised the pride flag over St. Louis City Hall yesterday, though the ceremony itself was moved inside because of the rain.
There are others who want inclusive spaces that celebrate each individual and are committed to creating spaces that do that. We will not back down and we will not waver.
St. Louis County ceremony planned for the plaza behind the headquarters building was moved to this afternoon because of the weather.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the All Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
It is now 6:36, and it's time for us to get you updated on your Money Minute. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. Google parent Alphabet racing to fund its ambitious artificial intelligence plans. The company's raising $80 billion, including an investment deal with Berkshire Hathaway. Alphabet has embarked on an unprecedented spending spree to build the infrastructure that it needs to develop cutting-edge artificial intelligence models and meet demand from customers who want to buy its chips. Turning to trading, the recent rally for stocks is taking a bit of a break this morning. S&P futures are down 13 points, Dow futures falling 190. Traders have been juggling the euphoria around the economic potential of AI against the war that has brought about a historic disruption in oil markets. And shares of FedEx's former freight division fell yesterday on its first day of trading as an independent public company. FedEx Freight closed down 6.8%. The trucking industry under pressure from high fuel prices brought on by the war in Iran. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Today, the Cards, the Rangers.
Ackerman Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
And of course, we have Ollie Marble before that noon appearance on the Gas House Gang with Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, and me. Here's Roger Brand in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, there's still no change on westbound Highway 70 out in Wentzville. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. We still have this jam westbound 70 that's running from basically Wentzville Parkway most of the way to David Hokel Parkway. Just before David Hokel Parkway, we had a tractor trailer go off the roadway off the right-hand side in the work zone, so they have the right lane closed while they deal with that. It's not bothering eastbound 70. Eastbound 70 is a little busy east of Highway A right now. Really doesn't look bad. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down to 64, slow as you get across that overpass. If you're on North 270, there's some busy traffic as you ramp on from 55, North 270 slow from there to Tesson Ferry, and approaching Manchester up through 64 to Ladue. We had a minor incident. I believe they may have already cleared it as you entered that construction zone on North 270. Northbound 55, well, the slowdown we had 141 to the Merrimack for the time being is dissipated. After that, of course, you look great headed into downtown, and Illinois drivers still look great. On 64 through Fairview Heights, it's still running well, headed for the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges downtown. Next update at 6:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
It does start to get a little hotter as we head through the week, but for the first week of June, Joe Lundberg, I'm not complaining about any of this, honestly.
No, neither am I. It's we could be, talking 90s and challenging records. We're not doing that this week. In fact, it's going to be very comfortable today with lower humidity than yesterday and a lot of sunshine. Our high 82. Then tonight should be clear, very comfortable. Lows in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny day. We'll get to 83. It's a little bit warmer on Thursday. Sunshine and some clouds, but humidity, again, not that bad for this time of the year. The high 87. Sunshine, some clouds on Friday, perhaps an afternoon thunderstorm, high 87. As a weak little front drops in from the north and west on Saturday, we'll see more clouds. The humidity will come up, and there'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the area with highs on Saturday in the mid-80s. Currently, pretty nice, 64 at St. Peter's and in Florissant, 67 with a good deal of sunshine downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. Sports in 3 minutes at 6:42. The largest budget in Illinois state history was passed early yesterday morning.
A lot of the big changes were really on the revenue side, not so much on the spending side. There's very little new spending. It's pretty much exactly the same as what the state's currently doing.
The spending plan totals roughly $56 billion. Capital Illinois News lead budget reporter Ben Solinsky says notable additions largely centered around new taxes on companies doing business in the state, including social media companies.
They're going to have to pay a user fee based on the number of users they have in Illinois.
And fantasy sports operators will face a 15% tax as the industry transitions into a licensed business in Illinois.
A bill strengthening oversight and further regulating hemp and cannabis in Illinois is off to the governor's desk.
Senate Bill 3222 strengthens statewide oversight of hemp products, improves consumer safety, and supports equity in Illinois' cannabis and hemp industries. Cannabis possession limits would be doubled, and the minor offense threshold would rise, making more Illinoisans eligible for expungement. The bill passed both chambers and now awaits Governor Pritzker's signature. Haley Hansen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Back to school shopping will be a bit easier for Illinois families this year.
Included in the newly passed fiscal year 2027 budget is a week-long back-to-school sales tax holiday. Between August 7th and 16th, buying back-to-school supplies, clothes, computers, and more at Illinois stores will not include any sales tax. The state took similar action in 2022, dropping that sales tax by about 5%. Governor Pritzker says it's just one part of an overall goal of making life more affordable for Illinois families. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A statewide cell phone ban during the school day is one step closer to becoming reality for students in Illinois. We get the latest from Rachel Pearson.
On the final day of the legislative session, lawmakers approved a bill requiring every Illinois school district to create policies restricting student cell phone use from the start of classes until the final bell. Governor J.B. Pritzker says he'll sign that measure, calling it an important step to reduce distractions and improve learning. And the legislation includes exceptions for health-related needs, students with IEPs, and some English language learners. State education officials will develop a model policy by September to help districts roll out those new rules.
Although it didn't pass, a measure to keep the Bears in Illinois proved to be a top priority for Illinois lawmakers during this year's session. A bill backed by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker that would have raised property taxes in order to build a new dome for the team wasn't even called for a vote in the Senate. Capital News Illinois reporter Ben Zielinski says that's because lawmakers in the Senate were busy writing a new piece of legislation.
A totally new plan that would basically create a stadium authority to try and compete to attract the team there.
That bill passed the Senate around 4 a.m., but was not voted on by the House. Speaking of the NFL monster trade yesterday, Cleveland Browns sent two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Rams. The Browns acquired pass rusher and linebacker Jared Verse. He's good. A 2027 first-round pick, second-round pick in 28, and a 29 third-round pick. Garrett is expected to report to the Rams facility today. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, they took on the Texas Rangers at Busch Stadium. Let's start with that. And KMOX's Matt Pauley with the latest on the club.
The Cardinals have their shots in a 2-1 loss to the Rangers. Facing Jacob deGrom, they get multiple base runners in 3 of the first 4 innings, but they can't come up with the proverbial big hit to score. Because of the pitch count, deGrom only goes 5 innings, but he does not allow a run. Manager Oliver Marmol appreciates his team's approach, but laments that they were not able to score early.
We were able to get the pitch count up, but still didn't do enough to score runs. But at the end of the day, man, tough pitcher. Drove his pitches up. I liked what we were doing early, but unfortunately still came up short.
deGrom gets the win, which is his 100th career. He's one of 16 active pitchers in the majors with at least 100 victories. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cards and Rangers tonight at 6:45 at Busch Stadium. Cards and Reds this weekend. It's going to be a big weekend in St. Louis. You have the Cardinals and the Reds. You have the Battlehawks playing a playoff game Sunday at 5 o'clock. I mentioned earlier Bosnia-Herzegovina taking on Panama in a World Cup friendly on Saturday at Energizer Park. And also this weekend, IndyCar at Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. And the IndyCar talk right now is around champion Felix Rosenqvist. He will be here. He won the Indianapolis 500 and says the drivers love St. Louis.
You're right. When we came back to St. Louis quite many years ago, I think it was 2019, it was still a challenge to kind of get the package right with the downforce and the layout. And it was hard to get the passing going in the field. But the series just did such a good job to make those changes. And the last, I think, 2 or even 3 years, it's just been probably the best races of the calendar, to be honest, outside of the 500. Just incredible racing, a lot of passing, a lot of action, and always seems to always be an exciting finish as well. And great partners with Bommarito Auto Group. they make a great show there with that big spectacle in the beginning of the race with the fireworks and a lot of fans. So yeah, we're pumped to get back for sure.
Yeah, they all look forward to that pyrotechnic display on the backstretch, and it'll be a night race this year. That one starts at 8:25 on Sunday night. It'll be on Fox. It's the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Join KMOX and Community American Credit Union for a free evening of fun as they celebrate the grand opening their new De Beers branch June 4th from 5 till 7 p.m. It'll be a great time. You could win swag from the big ATM, the Amazing Things machine. Meet Cardinals alumni. Get a photo with Fred Bird, plus free food, entertainment, and more. And a chance to come on out and say hi to Chris Ranchi from the Chris and Amy Show. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
6:51, time to check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're still working with that tractor trailer that left the roadway on westbound 70, Debbie. This traffic reports service of Community America Credit Union. So they still have their right lane shut down. That's westbound 70 just before David Hokel Parkway. It's a solid jam back to Wentzville Parkway, so it really hasn't changed. Eastbound 70, A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, that's kind of busy. Northbound 270, as you ramp on from 55, is slow most of the way to Tesson Ferry. There's a slowdown of Big Bend Doherty Ferry, and then approaching Manchester, it's busy all the way up to Ladue. South 270 come down to Ladue, looks okay. Northbound 55 looks okay, all the way up even through 141. Just like I said, those ramp lanes get onto North 270 are a little slow. And on the Illinois side, things are still clear. Just one exception, a little bit of a slowdown. Westbound 64 past the 70 split, but only really to about 3rd Street. And then it opens up Route 3 coming through Monsanto and 8th Street. Northbound's a little slow as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
Community America Credit Union helps you and me, shortstop Mason win. To win big, cash back, free checking, win. No service fees or minimum balance, win. So yeah, you really can win with Community America. So can I. That's a win-win.
Great day today. It'll be sunny with lower humidity, a high of 82. Tonight, clear, low 59. Tomorrow, sunshine and a high of 83. Currently, it's clear and 66 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. Delmar Loop property, currently home to an arts nonprofit, is up for sale. The property on Delmar and the adjacent lot are listed for $1.5 million, according to the Business Journal. St. Louis Artworks, a youth-focused art education and job training nonprofit, currently occupies the property.
Also in the news, St. Louis City requesting a bid for the demolition of an old Gito's restaurant. Beyond the restaurant, the structures on City Block 129 include the Railway Exchange parking garage and a sky bridge connecting the two buildings. Demolition work is set to begin July 15th and wrap up by September 30th and is funded by the American Resource Plan Act, according to the Business Journal.
St. Louis native Sam Altman has sounded sober in the past about what AI could do to jobs and livelihoods, but the OpenAI chief says what he's actually been seeing has made him more optimistic. His evidence? Look at the companies that are hiring and which ones are cutting.
The companies that I know that have adopted AI the most are also the ones hiring the most. And the companies, as a general rule, that are talking about doing layoffs because of AI are the ones adopting AI the least.
Altman tells CNBC today's models are jagged, which means strong at some tasks, but still annoying at long, complex ones. So workers are still necessary, even if they are more productive than before.
If longtime residents of the Hill get their way, the neighborhood will soon have a historic designation. You may ask yourself, it doesn't already? The answer is no.
You walk down Daggett or Wilson, Edward Street, whatever it might be, and you have a series of lots that are 18, 20 feet wide. And they have a certain, the buildings, the homes on those parcels have a certain look.
That goes back hundreds of years when the Hill was established in the 1800s by Italian-American immigrants. St. Louis Alderman Matt Devote says that's been changing. Small, almost tiny homes are disappearing and being replaced by large homes, sometimes taking up more than one or two parcels of land. He adds the Hill needs to figure out how it evolves, attracting new people to the city and yet not lose its identity in the process.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday wishes going out to Dave Zinn from the Life Group. Happy 70th, Tom Keener from the Game Nighters. Mark Gokenbach is celebrating. So is Zuri Brandley, turning 14 today. Happy 28th, Sarah Beth Ornelis from Babu and the family. Happy 35th, Russell Lampkin. And happy birthday wishes to Eileen Yale.
This is the best birthday ever.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen.
Izzy, what's going on, man?
Hey, you know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all of that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis. Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Skin Cancer Awareness this summertime, and we're joined by Dr. Aubriana McAvoy, a WashU medicine surgeon at Siteman Cancer Center.
So one of the biggest warning signs is a spot that's changing. So that could be changing in size, shape, color, or certainly if something has symptoms like itching or bleeding. We call it the ugly duckling sign, which is a mole that looks different from all the other ones on your body. I let patients know they should pay attention to sores that don't heal, scaly spots, or growths that bleed easily. If something is new or changing or just doesn't seem right, it's worth getting checked out. A lot of spots turn out to be benign when you're at the dermatologist, but skin cancer is much easier to treat when it's caught early.
For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
It's not really a sports show. It's just the show.
So I don't really have a sports show, but I love the Cardinals. I am born and bred St. Louis, went to my first game like so many of you, 4 years old. Couldn't believe how green it was standing there next to the players with my dad. And now I go with my kids. You get it. So when you listen to the DGS, it's going to be a slice of life happy hour, but we're always going to talk Cardinals.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. Then stick around for Cardinals baseball.
Roger Brand, things have been going on right around Wentzville, Forestel for a while now, haven't they? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, Tom, and right now they have westbound 70 shut down just temporarily because they're working to get this tractor trailer that went off the roadway out of there completely. So they have a big rig tow truck. They're trying to maneuver it. So the lanes are temporarily shut down westbound 70. Again, this is just east of David Hokel Parkway. So it's a standstill jam back to about Highway Z now on westbound 70. Hopefully they won't keep the lanes closed for too long. Eastbound 70, A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, that's busy. North 270, the primary volume is north of Big Bend up through Ladue. It's just slow that whole way through there. There's also a little slowdown around the Sappington Road overpass. Downtown, eastbound 5570 approaching 111 looks a little busy, but otherwise Illinois interstates are on the go with that exception. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Tuesday, June 2nd. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. A St. Louis City police chase ended with the SWAT team called, one of their officers injured, and a woman in custody. I've got that story coming up.
I'm Tom Ackerman. The largest budget in Illinois state history was passed early yesterday morning.
A lot of the big changes were really on the revenue side, not so much on the spending side.
Learn more next hour.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. Some reminders on how to try to keep your summer tick-free. The story is coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A nice day today with lots of sunshine and a high of 82.
And summer means baseball, and we have a lot of it. Cardinals' long homestand continues. They dropped one last night. We'll take a look in 15 minutes.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump pushing for a ceasefire in Lebanon. ABC's Karen Hua is in Washington and says he talked with both Hezbollah and the Prime Minister of Israel.
The phone call came after Israel escalated its bombing campaign against Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon, ordering strikes in the capital, Beirut. That triggered a mass exodus and prompted Iran's leadership to threaten to call off peace talks with the U.S. President Trump has since claimed to have brokered a de-escalation. Trump says talks with Iran are now resuming at a rapid pace.
Russia has launched new attacks on Ukraine overnight, firing drones and missiles, killing at least 17 people. There are worries more could be found dead in the rubble of buildings. Police in Muscatine, Iowa say a gunman killed 6 members of his own family in a shooting spree covering several locations. They say he then took his own life after being confronted later by police. This is ABC News. It's primary day in several states, including California, where 2 high-profile races are in the spotlight. In Los Angeles, here's ABC's Alex Stone.
The top 2 vote getters for both governor of California and mayor of Los Angeles will move on to the general election tonight. Unless one candidate in those races gets 50% of the vote, then they win outright. But that's not likely based on polling. For governor, former Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra is leading polling here. The question is who will be in second place and continue on to November. Republican Fox News host Steve Hilton or Democratic activist Tom Steyer. And for mayor of L.A., Karen Bass is in the political fight for her life against one-time ally Nithya Raman and former reality TV star Spencer Pratt. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Amazon's moving its Summer Prime Day event back to June after holding it in July for the last 5 years. It'll be back on June 23rd. Last year's event drove $24 billion in spending. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02, and we've got mostly sunny skies right now. It's 64 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Ameren, Illinois has notified its customers there is a rate increase effective June 1st, and Ameren, Missouri requested a new fuel adjustment rate to take effect also on June 1st.
Last summer, KMOX reported on what Ackerman, Missouri called a 12% increase, but many customers reported their bills more than doubled. Retail Energy Advancement League's Abby Foster says Missouri's legislature failed to pass any legislation making energy affordability bills for this year. But in 2025, lawmakers swiftly passed Senate Bill 4, which overturned the long-standing policy that now allows investor-owned utility companies to charge customers for the construction of new power plants before the construction of the plant even begins.
There definitely is going to be coming a breaking point for Missouri for electric rates. And it's not just households, as you noted, it's the economy as well. And so you have large energy users that contribute to the local and state tax base that employ thousands of customers that are seriously considering whether they want to continue to do business in Missouri because it's just not sustainable.
Foster says other states allow competition rather than a monopoly. Exactly how much Missourians will see their electric bills go up by as a result of the new fuel adjustment remains to be seen. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The legal fight over Missouri's income tax phase out isn't over yet. Just hours after a Cole County judge upheld the measure Monday, opponents filed an appeal to the Missouri Court of Appeals. They're making the same arguments the judge rejected, that the proposal, which people will vote on August 4th, illegally amends multiple parts of the Constitution and that its ballot wording is unfair and misleading. Because the measure is set for the August 4th ballot, the case is on a tight time schedule. Must be settled by June 9th.
One of the toughest questions about Governor Kehoe's plan to scrap the state income tax is what it means for seniors. They wouldn't see income tax savings, but they would still pay the sales taxes meant to replace it. 97.1 host Mark Reardon directly asked Kehoe about this.
Retirees aren't getting necessarily a paycheck, but they have to pay the sales taxes. So what would the response to that be for, seniors that are concerned about this?
Listen, everybody, on top of everybody's mind is property tax and different tax assessments in various counties and communities across the state, by the way. This is the one chance that you have, since counties can't actually gain from a revised sales tax code. They have to stay neutral. This is the one chance where we have different municipalities to now to roll back some of those fixed costs that affect our seniors.
Kehoe finishes the answer by saying ultimately what's important is making Missouri competitive for new jobs.
The state-controlled board that oversees the St. Louis Police Department announced another multi-million-dollar spending proposal, this time raises for top brass in the department and civilian employees. Mayor Kara Spencer, who is still pushing back over the board increasing the police budget by tens of millions, calls the plan for raises irresponsible.
The proposal would cost about $2.3 million, but Spencer points out the city's charter requires any pay raise for police also be offered to the fire department employees of similar rank, and that will magnify the cost. According to the Post-Dispatch, Alderman Rasheen Aldridge, after the Board of Aldermen's Budget Committee meeting, said, quote, "This is nuts."
A woman pulled over for driving erratically in Compton Heights drew a quick response from the St. Louis SWAT team.
According to St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy, the woman attempted to ram her car into a marked SLMPD vehicle before producing a hammer and fleeing the scene. She stopped a few blocks over at the corner of South Grand and Russell, where she began to cover up the windows of her vehicle. When SWAT arrived, St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says she again gunned her vehicle into reverse into an officer.
As our SWAT team was beginning to use some of those less than lethal tools, the woman pinned one of our SWAT officers between the building and that vehicle.
McCoy says the woman surrendered after that. She's being taken in for a mental health evaluation and will face charges. The officer that was pinned against the building did suffer injuries, but they are considered not life-threatening. In Compton Heights, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A follow-up on the Westlake landfill, the Superfund site where radioactive waste was dumped in the 70s and which has stressed homeowners out ever since, is getting new EPA attention. Region 7 Administrator Jim Macy says in this video release, the agency is moving forward with remediation plans.
Well, we've worked really hard to be a part of the community and to listen to the community and hear your voice and looking forward to getting this problem solved.
Excavation of the radioactive material is set to begin in 2027, which is about 2 years ahead of the original schedule. The EPA expects the full cleanup to be finished by 2038.
It is 7:07. We're going to be checking traffic and weather for you. It looks like a lovely morning, but is it going to continue? We'll have all the answers coming up next. It's Total Information AM.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And look, I've been using Burn Balance Complex since the week that it was released, and you notice the benefits really soon after you get started. Look, what Burn Balance Complex is a complete metabolism system. It is not just a fat burner. It works with your body, not against you, right? It's not bringing a lot of the negativity that other supplements bring. It's nothing but the good stuff. It's a natural weight loss option for people that just don't want prescriptions or injections. Get that. I understand it. And to me, Burn Balance Complex is the best thing I've used when it comes to natural weight loss. Also helps with reducing stress and lowering cortisol levels. You're going to get appetite and cravings control along with that, plus all-day focused energy with no jitters, which is the best part. Look, it's not magic. You got to put in the work. Burn Balance Complex makes putting in the work that much easier. So get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off for you right there on the spot. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hardworking, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, let's check the roadways. We did have some incidents earlier. Let's see how things are panning out right now. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the primary trouble spot is still with us, Debbie, on westbound Highway 70. We still have it temporarily shut down just east of David Hochul Parkway. The westbound lane's closed because of a tractor trailer that left the roadway earlier this morning. They've got it back on the highway, but they still have to finish, wrapping this up and tow it out of there. So it's a solid jam from Highway Z. Again, most of the way to David Hochul Parkway, and all lanes are temporarily closed on westbound 70. Eastbound 70 doesn't look bad. There's a little slowdown approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard at TR Hughes at Cave Springs. Just busy every once in a while there. It doesn't look bad, like I said, otherwise. Eastbound 64 is a good run. Westbound 64, Big Bend to Hanley. The right lanes are getting a little busy. North 270, slow stuff right at 44, and then Big Bend pretty much all the way up to Ladue is just kind of off the pace. As you ramp on from 55, the ramp lanes, North 270 at the merge on are a little heavy, but other than that, it's okay. And on the Illinois side, the only delays we're seeing is on eastbound 5570. There's some heavy traffic right through the 111 area. Westbound, though, looks good. They're supposed to be doing road work on the westbound side in the mornings between 255 and 203, but right now there are no delays westbound there. No delays westbound at 159 in Fairview Heights on 64, and the downtown bridges still look great. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny and pleasant today with lower humidity, high 82, then mainly clear tonight, though 59. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, high 83. Sunshine mixing with clouds and very warm Thursday, high 87. There could be a thunderstorm later Friday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Really nice morning. We have bright sun in downtown St. Louis, and we're up to 67 degrees at the Arch.
Police are still looking for the suspect in last night's Carr Square neighborhood shooting. This happened in the 1500 block of Carr around 6:40 last night. A man was found with gunshot wounds. He later died at a hospital. Fox 2 reports the victim was believed to have been in his 50s.
Police are still looking for a vehicle used in a hit and run last week. They're saying that 37-year-old Pierre Leach was struck by a white Mazda in the 3500 block of Gravois just after 10:30 p.m. Friday. They say Leach was struck by the Mazda in the eastbound lanes of Gravois, then fell into the westbound lanes where he was hit by another car. The second driver stayed on the scene. Police found Leach laying in the roadway. He later died in the hospital. City police are still looking for the white Mazda CX-9, which is reported to have damage to the front driver's side headlight and quarter panel.
St. Louis City and County recognizing the start of Pride Month. Mayor Kara Spencer held a ceremony to mark the raising of the rainbow flag over City Hall.
When we work towards creating spaces in our neighborhoods, communities, and city, we are able to change hearts and minds along the way.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Hage was slated to hold a similar flag raising in Clayton yesterday, but postponed it because of bad weather. It'll be today at 1.
St. Louis City requests a bid for the demolition of an old Charlie Gito's restaurant. Beyond the restaurant, the structures on City Block 129 include the Railway Exchange parking garage and a sky bridge connecting the two buildings. Demolition work is set to begin July 15th, wrap up by September 30th, and is funded by the American Resource Plan Act, according to the Business Journal.
If it's been a while since you visited the Hill, you'll notice the landscape is changing, and now the neighborhood is considering an historic designation to preserve the character.
The tight-knit Italian-American community was established back in the 1800s by Italian immigrants. St. Louis Alderman Matt Devote represents that area and joined KMOX's Chris and Amy.
The neighborhood is looking at is something called a local historic district. And I think it does have the potential to be very challenging. And it can be challenging for the reason that Amy kind of inferred, which is when you think of the Hill, you think of its area, its culture.
But in recent years, property owners have torn down the little long and narrow homes known as shotguns and replaced them with significantly larger two-story houses costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this isn't sitting well with the longtime residents who want to preserve the character of the neighborhood. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Maria, St. Louis is also home to about 60,000 Bosnians, the largest community outside of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and those fans will be watching the Bosnians take on Panama this Saturday in a friendly at Energizer Park. In fact, it was the Bosnians who knocked out Italy and advanced to the World Cup. Elvir Kafedzik is an assistant coach at City 2, and he will be among many rooting for the Bosnians, not only in this friendly, but in the World Cup. Just how big is the community in terms of soccer? It is massive. In fact, Kafedzik started a while back the Dragons, a Bosnian St. Louis soccer club.
That is correct, Tom. So about, I'd say 10 years ago now, after I finished playing my professional career, I was approached by some parents within our community and asked if I would be willing to coach their kids. I believed at that time, because of the experiences that I gained through my playing career, I saw this as a great opportunity to give back to the community and share my knowledge and passion with the younger generations. As time went on, though, I really started to realize that this has become more than just me teaching the game of soccer to the kids. The club had become a place where our community would come together, where families would connect, friendships were built, and I believe our traditions continue to live on.
And they have some great soccer tradition that will be on display Saturday. There will be many of them in the seats at Energizer Park to watch that World Cup friendly before the big matches take place. Right here in St. Louis, you can see Bosnia and Herzegovina taking on Panama. We are also the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's get the latest from the broadcast booth.
Last night, the Cardinals dropped the first game of a 3-game series to the Texas Rangers by a score of 2-1. Jacob deGrom picked up his 100th career victory. He was outstanding. Michael McGreevy went 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs for the Cardinals, Mike Claiborne.
deGrom was really good last night, scattering just 4 hits on the evening, and he picked up his 100th victory. And Ricky, as good as he is, you would have thought he had more than 100 victories in his career.
Oh, he's had a great career, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. On the Cardinals side, only 1 run on 5 hits for the Redbirds, as it was Mason Wynn hitting a home run in the 6th inning. That was their offense. Really didn't have much of a chance against Texas's bullpen. The Cardinals bullpen did a really nice job. Today, the Cardinals will take on Texas in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Nathan Eovaldi and Dustin May. For Mike Claiborne, I'm Ricky Horton. This is your Redbird Recap.
Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol.
Yeah, we were able to get the pitch count up, but still didn't do enough to score runs. But at the end of the day, man, tough pitcher. Drove his pitches up. I liked what we were doing early, but unfortunately still came up short.
For Mason to get into that homer, I mean, just what is it like just seeing him kind of get that run?
Yeah, it's it's a good swing there for the homer. I like the swing he took the other night with the 2 RBI single up the middle, just being able to stay on the ball. So hopefully it's something we can continue down that road as far as like just picking our spots there of when to do what. But obviously our only run today.
Cardinals taking on the Rangers tonight at 6:45. The Stanley Cup Final gets started tonight. The Carolina Hurricanes and former Blues forward Rod Brind'Amour coaching them. They'll be hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. That one starts at 7 o'clock. NBA Finals start tomorrow night in San Antonio, the Knicks and the Spurs. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. Cause 30 told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. Always trusting Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20 and time for traffic and weather on Total Information AM. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news for westbound 70 drivers, Debbie. They do have that left lane back open now for that tractor-trailer crash, westbound 70 to Fort David Hokel Parkway. The traffic is a solid jam back at Highway 61. Amazingly, the tractor-trailer was able to drive away under its own power, so they're just cleaning up from the crash, and hopefully they'll have that right lane open shortly. But right now, at least traffic is getting through in the left lane. Eastbound Highway 70, a little busy at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. East of Mid Rivers up through 370. Looks a little slow. North 270 bogs down as you ramp on from 55 to Gravois, and then north of 44 all the way up to Ledoux. That's busy. South 270, though, still looks good coming down through the Ledoux construction zone. North 55, Festus all the way up through Butler Hill. The right lanes north of there to the 270 exit are a little heavy. And on the Illinois side, the only delays is a roadwork delay eastbound 5570 approaching 111 about midway into 255. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Mostly sunny and pleasant with lower humidity today, high of 82. Clear, low 59 tonight. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine with a high of 83. Currently, it's sunny and 67 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:22 at a time when it's cutting flights between Frankfurt and airports in Europe. Lufthansa is expanding service between Frankfurt and St. Louis. Expanded service 5 times a week, up from 3, began yesterday. Aviation analyst Mike Boyd tells KMOX's Michael Calhoun they must be confident St. Louisans will buy tickets.
Is it a big deal in light of everything that's going on that they stuck with the plan to up it to 5 days a week from St. Louis?
Well, it clearly shows they have
some data to show that St. Louis is worth it. Right now, they are hurting with fuel. Right now, they are hurting with an inability to feed as many people over their hub at Frankfurt. So the fact that they're going to up it at St. Louis is a real good sign for St. Louis.
Meanwhile, British Airways recently launched flight is St. Louis's first nonstop link to the United Kingdom in more than 2 decades and its first to Heathrow.
An heir to the Anheuser-Busch fortune has passed away. Adolphus Busch IV died yesterday at the age of 72. He was known mostly for his conservation work. He co-founded the Great Rivers Habitat Alliance and was passionate about wildlife conservation, including preserving the floodplains at the confluence of the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers. Funeral arrangements are pending.
As tick encounters increase across Missouri, health experts say taking a few extra safety measures can make a difference.
University of Missouri Extension specialist Eden Stewart says, along with bug spray on your skin, using permethrin on clothing, including hiking boots and hats, can help to reduce the risk.
Ticks are attracted to heat and vibration, so we want to make sure that's covered. Our tents could be also sprayed to keep them from coming into our living quarters while we're outside.
Stewart tells Missouri Net clothing can be sprayed with permethrin, focusing on items like pants and socks, then leave them to dry before use and retreated to maintain protection. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The tent is up. The ring is under construction. It's the annual kickoff to summer. Circus Flora, St. Louis's very own circus.
So this year is our 40th anniversary at Circus Flora. We were founded in 1986. When I was 1.5 years old when we first started, and I was right there. I wasn't artistic director yet, but I am now.
That's artistic and executive director of Circus Flora, Jack Marsh. He's joined by Cecil McKinnon, the show's writer, and also Yo-Yo, the show's white-faced clown narrator. Cecil, I don't know how many people who come realize that you are a mother and son team.
Yes.
What is it like putting this show together with Jack?
Well, it's really fun. I mean, he grew up with the show as well, so he knows all the history of it. And we don't always agree, but we have different points of view. For me, it's a great, deep pleasure to work with my son.
This year's show is called Flying High, and it is a high school themed show. It's already an amplified time of life, but we're doing that much more by sending students and teachers up into the air, onto the high wire. There's some dogs, there's some horses. We're chock full of incredible stuff.
The Dog Act this year won season 7 of America's Got Talent.
Some familiar faces for longtime Circus Flora fans, the Flying Walendas on the high wire, Circus Harmonies, St. Louis Arches, and then some really incredible new performers that have never been with us before. Elaine Kramer is this magnificent contortionist and hand balancer. She can balance herself by her teeth and shoot a bow and arrow with her feet. For the first time in the history of Circus Flora, we are going to shoot someone out of a cannon. We can't really fit in the big top, big as it is. So we're bringing that to the midway during the intermission of the show.
And there are plenty of special nights during Circus Flora's run.
We have a preview Thursday night, peanut-free preview, so that no one will have any possible allergy.
Friday, June 12th at 1 p.m. is our sensory-friendly show, so we make some slight adjustments to the production to accommodate those with different sensory needs.
There's also Pride Night with a special after-show prom on June 12th. And another thing, those who perform in the circus would love it if people would stop referring to political chaos in Washington as a circus.
A circus, as you look at all the people working here, everyone's working as hard as they can to a common goal, doing different things. And it is very organized in its own way.
The circus brings joy, says Cecil.
We need it, and we need to work together.
Circus Flora, under the big top in Grand Center, June 4th through the 21st.
It's 7:26. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
While the world watches the stars at the FIFA World Cup this summer, Hyundai has its eyes on the next generation of talent. The future stars who are already turning heads at age 14. Because next doesn't wait for an invitation, and neither do we. Hyundai has always moved the future within reach. We did it when we made advanced safety standard on every vehicle and engineered EVs with ultra-fast charging capability. Because the future isn't some far-off concept. It's already here. Next starts now. Hyundai, an official partner of FIFA.
All access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our backs up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
It is 7:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, sunny 65 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, all lanes are open now, so great news on westbound Highway 70. They cleared that tractor-trailer crash. Both lanes back open. Westbound 70, still a solid jam, though, approaching 61 through Wentzville Parkway. It's opening up west of Wentzville Parkway, so getting better by the minute, and hopefully it'll continue to do so. Eastbound 70, Highway K Bryan Road in toward Highway K is busy. There's a little slowdown again right past Mid-Rivers, headed up the hill, and then between Cave Springs and Zunbelt, just a couple of slow spots. Southbound 61, bogged down at Wentzville Parkway, a little slow at Lake St. Louis Boulevard, slow passing Clarkson and briefly at the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend, that's a little busier. South 270, a little slowdown right around Ladue. North 270, as you ramp on from 55 to Gravois, and then north of 44, all the way up to Ladue, is just pretty much sort of slogging along through there, just off the pace the whole way. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, a little slow on the Poplar, and eastbound 5570, a couple of heavy spots between 203 and 111 due to road work. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a sunny day with a high of 82, sunny and 83 tomorrow. Right now it's sunny and 65 degrees.
It's now 7:32 here on Total Information AM on KMOX. In the news this morning, a budget battle between city police and St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer. It continues with the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners announcing a $2.3 million proposal to increase staff salaries. The move would increase the salaries of lieutenants by 16%, captains by 18%, majors by 20%, lieutenant colonels by 22%. It would also give professional staff employees a 4% raise. something the city police say is necessary to retain the small number of staff they currently have.
In a statement, Mayor Spencer called the move incredibly irresponsible, saying it would have a major impact on both the police department and the overall city budget. The proposal is expected to be taken up at tomorrow's Board of Police Commissioners meeting at 9 a.m. If approved, those salary increases would take effect July 1st.
An early morning shooting brought homicide detectives near downtown St. Louis. This took place at Howard and 13th, just north of downtown, earlier this morning. A male victim who has not been identified publicly yet was transported to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. Fox 2 reports he is in critical and unstable condition. This is a breaking story. We will keep you updated as new information is released.
For the local activists who spent years demanding a cleanup of the Westlake landfill, the plan to pull out the radioactive waste is finally taking shape. Just Mom's STL co-founders Dawn Chapman and Karen Nickel are in a new video released by the EPA, praising the agency's plans for the Superfund site.
It's a one-of-a-kind, precise surgical cleanup. Everything this community has been asking for was taken into consideration in the development, the planning.
Excavation is expected to start next year, with the EPA aiming to have the site cleaned by 2038.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is now 7:35. This is Total Information AM, and it's time for your Money Minute, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. Google parent Alphabet racing to fund its ambitious artificial intelligence plans. The company's raising $80 billion, including an investment deal with Berkshire Hathaway. Alphabet has embarked on an unprecedented spending spree to build the infrastructure that it needs to develop cutting-edge artificial intelligence models and meet demand from customers who want to buy its chips. Turning to trading, the recent rally for stocks is taking a bit of a break this morning. S&P futures are down 13 points, Dow futures falling 190. Traders have been juggling the euphoria around the economic potential of AI against the war that has brought about a historic disruption in oil markets. And shares of FedEx's former freight division fell yesterday on its first day of trading as an independent public company. FedEx Freight closed down 6.8%. The trucking industry under pressure from high fuel prices brought on by the war in Iran. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
The summer's finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Don't let rising gas prices stop you from having a clean and healthy home. Zero Res is keeping comfort affordable with powerful cleaning at a price families can feel good about. Zero Res can handle every surface in your home: carpets, tile, grout, hardwood, laminate, upholstery, rugs, air ducts, and more. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements. The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis, Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's 7:39. Ollie Marmol joins us on the Gas House Gang today at noon. President Trump says talks with Iran are now resuming at a rapid pace following a call yesterday with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. ABC reports the phone call came after Israel escalated its bombing campaign against Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon, ordering strikes in the capital, Beirut. That triggered a mass exodus and prompted Iran's leadership to threaten to call off peace talks with the U.S.
New information about the health screenings at airports ahead of next week's World Cup. ABC reports the games are expected to draw up to 7 million visitors to the U.S., raising concerns about the possible spread of Ebola from Africa. Confirmed cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo have jumped more than 20% in a single day. But one aid group warns the outbreak may be much larger, pointing to delays in detection and limited contact tracing.
Responding to a lawsuit from the state of Florida, OpenAI says the company leads the industry with protections and policies, including an age prediction tool. ABC reports state officials claim the company marketed ChatGPT to the public while concealing serious safety risks. They claim the chatbot has offered instructions to children considering self-harm, and that the suspect in last year's deadly shooting at Florida State University used chat to plan the attack.
It is 7:40, and it's time for us to get you another check of the roadways and the weather. Let's see what Roger Brand is looking at from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, a lot better run on westbound 70, Debbie. Obviously, this traffic report service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm is just a little backed up through 61 briefly. The earlier problem at David Hokel Parkway is gone, and it's pretty much back on the go for you there. Eastbound 70, a little busy at Lake St. Louis Boulevard, headed into the Bryan Road area. It's a little slow from 370 to Cave Springs otherwise. Eastbound 64 coming off the 61 ramp. Slow traffic up through Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's a little busy at Clarkson, and then from McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 west of the Science Center to Hanley's heavy. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. South 270, 364 down through to Ladou's pretty busy. North 270, north of 55 just off the pace all the way up to Ladou. Looks like maybe an incident. Eastbound 44 just east of 141, a little delay there. Northbound 141 backs up Clayton Road to 64. Northbound 55, a great run all the way into downtown. Downtown, though, westbound 64, Baugh Avenue to the Poplars heavy, and eastbound 5570, east of 203 through 111 is slow. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, you couldn't ask for better weather for a ball game tonight.
It's going to be beautiful. We've got sunshine today. Temperatures are going to get to the low 80s with low humidity. Looks like first pitch temperature is probably going to be somewhere in the mid to upper 70s. Very comfortable for evening baseball. Then overnight tonight we'll drop to the upper 50s under mainly clear skies. Tomorrow looks like another beautiful day with lots of sunshine and low humidity. We get to about 83 for a high. Gets a little bit warmer on Thursday with sunshine and some clouds, but still the humidity not bad at 87. Friday, partly sunny. There is a risk for an afternoon thunderstorm, the high 87. We get to Saturday, more clouds around. The humidity comes up. That could be the fuel for a shower and thunderstorm. Saturday's high in the mid-80s. Right now, it's 67 degrees at St. Peter's, 66 in Florissant, 68 with sunshine downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 7:43. A Washington University scientist who has worked on NASA missions says last week's explosion of a commercial rocket could impact upcoming moon missions. Blue Origin is developing a human landing system for future moon missions. Research physicist Jeff Gillis tells KMOX the next Artemis mission was set up to test that system and the SpaceX version.
And the Orion spacecraft would then show that it could correctly dock and maneuver with both companies' human landing system. That way it would prove that, we've got everything working correctly, and if there were any problems, it would be here right around low Earth orbit rather than trying the first time around the moon.
NASA is expected to announce the astronauts for that next mission next week.
Dave Murray tells KMOX's Michael Calhoun, look to the sky at night this week.
Stretch of weather, and I want to make you aware of something that's going on in the western evening sky. You can't miss it. It is Jupiter and Venus being the brighter of the two. And watch them over the next couple of nights. They are going to appear to get closer and closer and will actually make conjunction come June 8th and 9th. So about a week away. It should continue to be a spectacular sight, and the weather is just about perfect.
When OpenAI rolled out its GPT 5.2 model late last year, it said the AI could outperform human professionals on tasks across 44 different occupations. That's, of course, a claim that fueled plenty of worry about AI replacing people. Now, CEO Sam Altman says he would put it differently.
What I wish we had said then is that it outperforms professionals at small tasks in 44 occupations, which is, I think, a more accurate thing.
Altman, a St. Louis native, tells CNBC that people are right to feel anxious. He calls AI one of the biggest technological shifts in generations and one that warrants real caution.
Illinois leaders' decision to wait before approving legislation to encourage the Bears not to move to Northwest Indiana is focusing new attention on the team's efforts to find a replacement for Soldier Field.
Bears president and CEO Kevin Warren told the Pro Football Talk podcast back in March that the team had narrowed down its search for a potential stadium site.
The only site in the state of Illinois in Cook County is Arlington Heights.
The only other possible site, he said, was in Hammond, where Indiana has offered to build a stadium for the team to rent with an option to buy. And as Illinois lawmakers considered a property tax change the Bears had requested, team executives and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson confirmed they'd had several conversations in recent weeks about venues in the city. That appears to have convinced some Chicago representatives that the city was still on the table.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
And it dried up support for any incentive to move the team to the suburbs. The team says it's sticking to its late spring-summer decision timeline and now is forced to either wait for Illinois to approve incentives, accept Indiana's offer and risk a hit to its public image, or pick Arlington Heights now and prove right those skeptics who said its Hoosier overtures were a negotiating tactic. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
Well, we'll keep it pretty simple for you here. Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Why'd the Cardinals lose yesterday? They faced Jacob deGrom, and he was on his game. The Cardinals struck out a total of 14 times last night, and deGrom was responsible for 8 of those. deGrom, one of the finer pitchers in the game, went 5 innings. He gave up 4 hits. He walked 1. He struck out 8. Manager Ollie Marmol knew they were facing a good one in deGrom.
Yeah.
And here he is talking to reporters about it.
Yeah, we were able to get the pitch count up, but still didn't do enough to score runs. But at the end of the day, man, tough pitcher. Drove his pitches up. I liked what we were doing early, but unfortunately still came up short.
There was
for
some
Mason to
good
get into
news,
that
though.
homer. We just
However, here is KMOX's Matt Pauley.
Cardinal shortstop Mason Wynn has been in a hitting slump the better part of the last month. In May, he hits .213 with only 4 extra base hits and a sub-600 OPS. As the calendar turns to June, he hits a home run in the Cardinals' 2-1 loss to the Rangers, accounting for the team's only run. Manager Oliver Marmol hopes this gets Wynn trending in the right direction.
It's a good swing there for the homer. I like the swing he took the other night with the 2 RBI single up the middle, just being able to stay on the ball. So hopefully it's something we can continue down that road as far as like just picking our spots there of when to do what. But obviously our only run today.
Wynn has hit 2 home runs this year, and both are against teams from his home state of Texas, as he hit one in Houston earlier this season. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, they face another good one tonight in Nathan Eovaldi. The Cardinals will counter with Dustin May. The game starts at 6:45. We'll have the pregame at 5:50 here on KMOX. Cardinals still sit in second place in the NL Central. They're tied with the Pirates, who have won 3 in a row. The Brewers continue to win. They've won back-to-back games, and they absolutely demolished the Giants last night. 16-2 was the final, as the Brewers are rolling right now. They have the lead in the Central by 5.5 games over the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Cubs. There's actually a 3-way tie for second, and the Reds bringing up the rear right now, 7 games out and 1 game over 500. It's time for our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. I've been all over the Knicks, and the Knicks tomorrow are 5-point underdogs. I love the Knicks +5 tomorrow. And if you want to work in the Stanley Cup final game 1, I got to say Carolina is going to take care of it tonight. They are -150 money line tonight against the Golden Knights at home in game 1. I think they're going to be great in game 1. I think they'll come flying out of the gates in game 1. That's going to be a really good series, though. I like Carolina in 7 in that one. I like the Knicks in 6, actually, in the NBA Finals. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circasports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circa Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. And isn't that the truth? Man, oh man, what a day this would be at Innsbrook. A Tuesday with perfect weather. Man, this would be a day to play hooky. Get out there and play golf. You can play a great round of golf at Innsbrook. They have an 18-hole golf course. It's a public course, by the way. You can just check in, get yourself a tee time, and get out there. Innsbrook's an outstanding place to fish. They have over 100 lakes at Innsbrook. It's a great place to go for a nice long hike. Just beautiful country there. 7,500 acres of woods and waterfalls and lakes. Just perfect place to unwind for the weekend. You want to get a nice night's rest? Go to Innsbrook for vacation. It is dead quiet at night. All you hear are the sounds of nature out beyond your home there at Innsbrook. And then you wake up right on the lake, have a cup of coffee, and just enjoy your day. Innsbrook is a fantastic place for your family and friends to vacation this summer. But like I said, every day is the weekend. You don't have to go on the weekends only. Innsbrook Resort, Innsbrook-resort.com.
Join KMOX and Community American Credit Union for a free evening of fun as they celebrate the grand opening their new De Beers branch June 4th from 5 till 7 p.m. It'll be a great time. You could win swag from the big ATM, the Amazing Things machine, meet Cardinals alumni, get a photo with Fred Bird, plus free food, entertainment, and more, and a chance to come on out and say hi to Chris Ronchi from the Chris and Amy Show. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:52. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, westbound 70 has some slow traffic approaching Forestell out toward Wright City, not all the way out, just maybe midway through there. Eastbound 70 kind of busy, 5th Street into Earth City. Southbound 61 Wensfield Parkway onto 64 to the Boulevards, heavy. There's a slowdown east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. The Innerbelt south 170 bogs down at Delmar. Westbound 64 Science Center headed out to Hanley's pretty busy, and then again Spady to Ballas. South 270 Dorset down through 364. It's not as bad through Olive, and then Ladue is just a little heavy. North 270 Sappington Road overpass up to Ladue. You've got delays. 44 east of Elm through Laclede Station looks a little slow downtown. Westbound 64 passing 50, and then from the 70 split to the Poplars heavy. Eastbound 64 slow at 157, and if you're on eastbound 5570, there's heavy traffic 203 past 111. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Our weather is just fantastic, Roger. We're looking at a bright, sunny day today and a high of 82 degrees, but the key is low humidity. It's going to feel great today. Clear tonight, low 59. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, high of 83. It's 68 right now.
State-regulated insurance policies are one signature away from being required to cover up to 6 months of hormone therapy if you live in Illinois.
The Illinois General Assembly passed House Bill 5492, which supports patients' access to prescription hormone therapy by requiring insurance policies to cover a longer supply of the treatment. Those with a wide range of health conditions, such as menopause, cancer-related hormone suppression, and gender dysphoria, benefit from hormone therapy. The CEO of Equality Illinois says expanding access to the life-saving treatment is about more than health care. Quote, it's about dignity, autonomy, and survival. Haley Hansen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Relief on gas and school supplies were included in this year's Illinois budget. Lawmakers passed the almost $56 billion spending plan early Monday morning, which Capital News Illinois lead budget reporter Ben Zielinski says contained a new tax relief.
This was kind of a surprise to see included. The state did this a couple of years ago when inflation was also high. So here we are back with a period of high inflation again, and no sales tax on school supplies under $125.
That tax relief will run a little over a week in August from the 7th to the 16th. Consumers also saw some relief at the pump in the budget with a freeze on the 1.3 cent gas increase that was set for July being pushed back to January.
It's not a huge, giant tax relief. It'll probably save, an average of 10 cents each time somebody fills up at the gas station.
Parents share a new concern about social media.
In the latest Pew Research survey, parents say social media use hurts their kids' friendships, productivity, and mental health.
And most importantly, hurts their sleep. And I thought that was really interesting because in all the talking that you hear about social media platforms, you really don't hear sleep mentioned all that much. But I think that's huge.
Media expert and author Julie Smith tells KMOX's Total Information AM adults should probably be worried about the same things with their own social media use. 85% of parents say they talk with their teens about social media, but Smith says she hopes they're talking about how the apps are designed to be addicting and how to use privacy settings and understand terms of service. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
And maybe take their own advice and apply it to themselves when it comes to social media.
There
Put some
are
restrictions on yourself.
A lot of adults who could use a lesson in social media.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
7:55 on KMOX.
The pitch. Mason Wynn hits it hard. Deep left field. That ball's out of here.
Community America Credit Union has been helping people like you and me, shortstop Mason Wynn, to win big for 85 years. Cash back with your free checking. Win. No service fees or minimum balance. Win. Bank anywhere, anytime with their app. Win. So yeah, with Community America, you can win. And so can I. Mason Wynn. Community America Credit Union. Invested in St. Louis. Invested in you.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441 all fours. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection.
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mira Fiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mira Fiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
It's 7:58. Let's check in with Roger Brandon, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, traveling out on westbound 70, it was shut down earlier before David Hokel Parkway. They wrapped that up, but now you're still heavy west of there. So like the Wayscale area, past Highway Forestell, about midway to Wright City, it's just kind of busy along that run. Eastbound 70, just a little slow east of the Blanchard into 270 right now. If you're on southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down to 64, and then 64, Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 364 is busy. Through the Chesterfield Parkways, there's a little volume, and then east of Lindbergh into about Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, the usual slow stuff. South 170, primarily just at the Parkway. South 270 is better. Dorset down through 364. There's a couple of slow spots. North 270, Gravois all the way up to Ladue is busy the whole way through. Eastbound 44, east of Elm to Laclede Station. That still looks like it's bogged down a bit. Westbound 64 has stop-and-go pockets from the 70 split headed across the Poplar, and roadwork delays eastbound on 5570 has it heavy from 203 past 111. Next update at 8:10 from the overhead door company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Would you be willing to buy a surprise bag of food from the grocery store if it could save a lot of money? We'll learn from ABC's Jim Ryan.
If you want your business to succeed, it may be about how you tell your story. Megan Lynch will speak with a former engineer who's now teaching companies story business.
A new exhibit in St. Louis will explore how this area faced Nazi extremism nearly 100 years ago.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly sunny today with lower humidity, the high 82.
Sounds like a great forecast for a ball game tonight. Texas Rangers manager Skip Schumacher left a Schumacher t-shirt for Ollie Marmol in his office yesterday as a prank. Marmol wore it to batting practice. We'll ask him about that in the Gas House Gang today at noon.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. More attacks in Lebanon despite President Trump's push for a ceasefire there. Lebanon's state-run news agency says Israeli forces carried out 3 strikes, and the IDF says it intercepted rocket and drone attacks aimed toward northern Israel. President Trump and the Justice Department saying they will abide by a court order temporarily freezing the anti-weaponization fund. Here's ABC's Jonathan Carl.
The court proceedings are moving forward, but what's really happening is open revolt in Congress over this fund. And the president, I think, by coming out and saying, I'm going to abide by the court's rulings on this, is trying to forestall an effort to kill it in Congress.
Russia firing a fresh barrage of missiles and drones into Ukraine overnight, killing 17 people, and officials warn that death toll could go up. Voters go to primary polls in 6 states today, including California, where there are big races for governor and LA mayor. This is ABC News. The Justice Department says it will abide by a judge's ruling striking down the $1.8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund that had been set up as a part of the lawsuit President Trump dropped against the IRS. Outside Philadelphia, an illegal cockfighting ring has been busted. ABC's John Paul was there as police moved in on the chickens and their owners.
It's okay, honey. It's okay.
Our cameras are rolling as state and local police, along with the SPCA, raided a warehouse. Inside, police say they interrupted a cockfight in progress.
There was food set up, drink set up.
Nicole Wilson is the director of animal law enforcement for the SPCA. She says this was a complex operation involving 25 people from as far away as New York. They say they found 52 live chickens and 3 that had already died from fighting.
Cockfighting is illegal in all 50 states and in D.C. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd. I'm Megan Lynch. We've got a follow-up on the Westlake landfill this morning, the Superfund site where radioactive waste was dumped in the 70s and has stressed homeowners out ever since, is getting new EPA attention. Region 7 Administrator Jim Macy says in a video release that the agency is moving forward with remediation plans.
Well, we've worked really hard to be a part of the community and to listen to the community and hear your voice and looking forward to getting this problem solved.
Excavation of the radioactive material set to begin in 2027, about 2 years ahead of the original schedule. The EPA expects the full cleanup to be finished by 2038. The state-controlled board that oversees the St. Louis Police Department announced another multi-million-dollar spending proposal, this time raises for top brass in the department and civilian employees. Mayor Kara Spencer, who is still pushing back over the board increasing the police budget by tens of millions of dollars, calls the plan for raises irresponsible. The proposal would cost about $2.3 million. Spencer points out the city's charter requires any pay raise for police also to be offered to the fire department employees of similar rank, and that will magnify the cost. An early morning shooting brought homicide detectives to downtown St. Louis. It took place at Howard and 13th earlier this morning. A male victim who's not been identified publicly was transported to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. Our news partners at Fox 2 report he is in critical but unstable condition. It's a breaking story, and we'll keep you updated as new information is released. A St. Louis City SWAT officer injured after being pinned against a building.
St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says they initially tried to pull the woman over for driving erratically in a construction zone when she then attempted to strike an SLMPD vehicle with her car, produced a hammer, and drove away. She stopped a few blocks later at South Grand and Russell and Compton Heights, where the SWAT team arrived as she began covering up the windows of the car she was in. McCoy says then a second time she attempted, this time successfully striking one of their officers.
Put the vehicle in reverse and had backed up into the building at one point, and the passenger side door is completely it's almost ripped off, but it's going in the opposite direction that it should be going in.
McCoy says the officer's injuries are not considered life-threatening. The woman surrendered shortly thereafter. In Compton Heights, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The challenge to Missouri's income tax phase-out is headed to a higher court. Opponents wasted no time appealing Monday's ruling that kept the measure on the August ballot, filing with the Missouri Court of Appeals the same day. They argued the proposal crams multiple constitutional changes into one question and that voters are being given misleading ballot language. The clock is ticking because the vote is set for August 4th. The appeals court must reach a final decision by June 9th. Governor Kehoe's case for eliminating the income tax is an economic matter of survival. He tells our sister station KFTK, without an income tax, we're growing. Missouri keeps losing residents, and he argues the state can't afford to stand still.
We have to be in a state that's competitive, where our economy can grow and our population grows. It's just like business. If you're not growing, you're dying, and Missouri is not growing right now.
Relief on gas and school supplies included in this year's Illinois budget. Lawmakers passed the nearly $56 billion spending plan early Monday morning. Capitol News Illinois lead budget reporter Ben Solinsky says it contained a new tax relief.
This was kind of a surprise to see included. The state did this a couple of years ago when inflation was also high. So here we are back with a period of high inflation again, and no sales tax on school supplies under $125.
That tax relief will run a little over a week in August from the 7th to the 16th. Illinoisans will also see some relief at the pump with a freeze on the 1.3 cent gas increase that was set for July being pushed back to January.
It's not a huge, giant tax relief. It'll probably save, an average of 10 cents each time somebody fills up at the gas station.
Missouri abortion laws now in the spotlight as a major court case begins this week.
A trial scheduled today in Kansas City will determine which abortion regulations remain in place under Missouri's voter-approved reproductive rights amendment. The case stems from a lawsuit filed by Planned Parenthood and the ACLU of Missouri challenging existing restrictions. The outcome will decide how state laws align with the amendment going forward. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
Mayor Kara Spencer raised the pride flag over St. Louis City Hall yesterday, though the ceremony itself was moved inside due to rain.
There are others who want inclusive spaces that celebrate each individual and are committed to creating spaces that do that. We will not back down and we will not waver.
St. Louis County ceremony planned for the plaza behind the headquarters building was moved to this afternoon because of the weather. A drive-through Dutch Brothers coffee shop coming to Crestwood. The shop will take up half of the old Red Lobster building at 9838 Watson Road. It closed 3 years ago. It'll mark the fifth Dutch Brothers coffee shop that has come to the St. Louis region since early last year. Coming up, we're going to tell you why telling your story as a business is key to success. Plus, get a check of traffic and weather so you can get to business today. It's 8:08.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. But one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit landstorylaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, time to figure out where the backups are on the roads. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's a little heavy traffic right now, Megan, on eastbound 70 coming through Hawks Nest toward 94. Maybe have an incident there. We'll try to check on that for you. There's still slow traffic on eastbound 64 from the 70 split up to about 364. It's a little slow at Clarkson, and then east of Lindbergh into Big Bend, the usual heavier traffic there. It's bogged down westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, south 170 delays from Brentwood to 64, north 270, 44 up to Ladue is the usual slow slog through there. South 270, though, has pretty well thinned out coming down from Dorset into that area. Downtown, westbound 64 3rd Street to the Poplars, busy. Eastbound 44, a little heavy traffic from Park Avenue up to the Poplar, and eastbound 5570, you have roadwork delays from Exchange headed through 111. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a much nicer day today than yesterday with plenty of sunshine and much lower humidity, the high 82. Mainly clear tonight, though, 59. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, high 83. Thursday, sunshine and some clouds and very warm in the afternoon, high 87. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have a sunny morning this morning, 67 degrees in Florissant. It's 70 in St. Peters, 66 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. The answer to growing your business comes down to how you tell your story. Gavin McMahon is a former engineer and consultant who has worked across industries. He's co-founder and CEO of Fast Forward, a leadership and storytelling consultancy. And his new book is Story Business: Why Stories Rule the World and How They Can Reinvent Your Business.
I think when you start out as an engineer, you generally think the world is very black and white, and everything is a problem, to be fixed or made better, including people. And so you end up kind of believing the world is a meritocracy. I think everyone is told that at some stage when they're a kid. And, I think over time, doing the work I do now, which is basically helping big companies move through change, discovered more and more that how people make decisions and what influences them more than anything else is story. And so a few years ago, I ended up writing this book, or starting to write this book. It took me a long time, but it was really just to get my thoughts together. But yeah, that's the kind of potted history.
When you look at companies or even individuals in those companies telling those stories, how important is it that they are authentic?
Oh, huge. I mean, you can tell a story in a moment and have people believing you, but if you want them to stay with you, you have to be completely authentic. There's a chapter in the book about leadership storytelling, and one of the rules of leadership storytelling is truth telling, not fable telling. You have to be authentically you, and it's hard to fake being you all the time. I imagine. I don't know because I haven't tried it, but that must be hard.
A lot of companies use a lot of really specific jargon. And so maybe I'll ask them, like in one of the first questions, just to get to know them a little bit, like, what's your mission? What do you do there? And I get this very specific jargon that I think, does that mean anything to my audience? How do you help businesses tailor that message to an audience that may not know exactly what some of that jargon means?
Let me put the language into two camps or two groups. The first group is what I call credibility language. So that signals that you know what you're talking about. It signals that you're part of the tribe. And it, jargon and acronyms, they have a purpose because they compress very specific pieces of information into a very quick shorthand. But if you speak all the time in credibility language, you have no chance of speaking to a wider audience. So you have to speak, I think, also in what I call grandma language. So this is how you would speak to your grandma, or how your grandma would speak to you. And that has to be very simple and plain. And I think most companies, between 9 and 5 days a week, you spend talking in your credibility language to all the other people that know and understand, and they all nod like they really know and understand, but it makes people think too hard. And I think if you want to bring other people in, if you want to bring other people along, don't make them think. Get them to engage in that language. So you have to really mix grandma language and credibility language.
When it comes to that credibility, how do you project that to say that, for example, my company belongs here? This is our legacy. This is what we know to do. This is why you should consider us.
Well, it's funny because your first question about being authentic, I think, really leans into this one. You have to be, it has to make sense. You're, often in the story of your company and what your first product was and who your first customers were, there's a narrative thread that connects. And your job, I think, is to connect that narrative thread to make the next move and the next thing make sense. If all along I said, look, I'm going to be a great golfer, I'm going to be an awesome golfer, I'm going to practice playing golf, and then suddenly I decide, okay, now I'm going to be a great tennis player, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't translate. And it's the same with a company. They have to make sense. This is what Simon Sinek talked about. We start with why, and why it made sense for Apple to go from, computers to the iPod to the iPhone. And for other companies, it didn't. It has to make sense to who you are and what you do and to your story.
What hard and fast rules do you have for doing brand storytelling?
So in the book, I separate out these kind of genres of storytelling, and brand storytelling is one of them. I think, to me, I thought about brand storytelling as world building, as creating fandom. So it's much like watching a movie where everything has to make sense as you put it together. You know, if you have a fantasy movie about trolls and giants and goblins, it would not make sense to have a UFO suddenly descend into the midst of that, or to have a rom-com maybe happen in the middle of it. It just doesn't make sense. And I think brands have to do the same thing. They have to think about what their world is. And if you can create worlds really well, you can create fandom. And that's ultimately what the brand part is. It's creating attraction and attention. And the ultimate expression of that is fandom.
Which companies do this really well?
So in the book, I think I talk about IKEA. I think IKEA does a brilliant job of it. I mean, if you think about world building, if you go to an IKEA store, literally you see a few couches around a coffee table, and they've created a little mini world. And you, as the person that's shopping in the store, is imagining yourself in that world, and thinking, well, how does that world fit into my world? You know, will the couch fit into my space? And they put just enough in to get you to think that, and leave just enough out, because there are no walls around it. So you're not saying, well, I'm not sure how it would work in my space. But that extends to all sorts of things. There's a cause and effect. So the fact that they are flat pack furniture, and the fact that they have this ethos about everyone deserves to live in a well-designed home, that means that cause and effect of world building is present in almost everything they do, even to the names that they choose for the furniture. You know, it's got to be a very Swedish sounding, to us almost unpronounceable name, but it kind of makes sense in that. Again, you're going back to everything makes sense in the world.
It sounds like, too, what you're saying is it's not just the words you put out there and putting that story paragraph out there over and over again. It's this picture that you draw that tells your story as well.
Yeah, I use in the book, I use a very elastic definition, I think, of storytelling. So for me, it's a piece of information wrapped in emotion, and the two parts go together. You need the information because that's your message, that's what you're trying to get across, that's the frame you're looking at. You need the emotion because you need to get it in somebody's head. That means I'm not really talking about the great American novel or making the next great blockbuster movie. I'm really talking about all the different aspects of storytelling that you have, because you're trying to do two things at once. You're trying to frame the way people look at the world and then move them to action. And the ideal is in the sweet spot of the middle of those two things.
That is Gavin McMahon. The book is Story Business, Why Stories Rule the World and How They Can Reinvent Your Business. Let's get a check now of the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A slow going out there, but it's getting better, Megan. This traffic report's a service of the United Way of Greater St. Louis, helpingpeople.org. Northbound 270, a little slow down, Tesson Ferry through Sappington. Then it's just off the pace the whole way from 44 up to Ladue. If you're on eastbound 64, from 70 into Lake St. Louis Boulevard, really all the way to 364. It's still pretty busy along that run. It's slowed down east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 delays south of the Parkway. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out through Hanley. A lot of volume there. Eastbound 70 approaching the Hawks Nest area through 94 is kind of heavy. Downtown, I want to talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route because they have roadwork going on now. Eastbound 5570, it's backed up, or at least heavy, from pretty much Exchange all the way to 111. So your reliable route is to take eastbound 64 either to 111, or it's more easy just to go over to 255 and go north from there to get around that roadwork restriction. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Checking the forecast for today, it's going to be mostly sunny and pleasant. Lower humidity, we're expecting a high of 82 degrees. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 59. And then plenty of sunshine tomorrow. We're expecting a high of 83. Right now, we have sunny skies, 67 degrees in Florissant. It's 70 in St. Peters and 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. Still ahead on Total Information AM. Would you buy a surprise bag of groceries to save half off? We're going to talk about that coming up with Jim Ryan, ABC News correspondent out of Dallas.
When our neighbors need support, United Way brings people together. Helping families, helping children, helping people through everyday challenges, and building hope for tomorrow. Unite with us at helpingpeople.org.
It's time to check out the exterior of your home. Tom Ackerman with you. Siding and windows, two things that can make your home look like the best home in the neighborhood. It just makes a huge difference. And the best in the business is Banner Construction. Since 1993, they have been the best when it comes to Pella windows. They're a Pella window specialist. They're a preferred James Hardie contractor. They are Banner Construction. You don't want to go with a company that doesn't entirely know what it's doing or tries to cut corners or hasn't been around for a very long time. 1993 is when they started, so over 30 years of excellence. Go online and see for yourself all the great examples at bannerconstruction.com. Banner Construction will come over to your home. They'll give you a free in-home consultation. You're going to love their team. I really appreciate Banner Construction and what they do here in St. Louis. Visit them online, bannerconstruction.com, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food, like that morning status meeting, always better with bagels. And don't forget the coffee. Ops team working late? How about some power bowls to keep them going strong? Sandy's celebrating 10 years at the company. This calls for cupcakes. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we'd been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Tom Ackerman here for Tim and Tom Gamma and Gamma Tree Experts and their father, Frank, who's going to be 91 this year. That means that he started this business back when he was a teenager. Gamma Tree Experts back in 1954. What a great company. What a great run they've had. Gamma Tree Experts. GammaTree.com. You can find storm damage. You can find emerald ash borer treatment. Tree trimming and limbs are going to be hanging over parts of your home that you don't want them to when those storms come through. Have Gamma Tree Experts come over, identify the issue, and take care of it right away. They're the best in the business, no question about it. They've been handling homes and businesses in St. Louis for years. All you have to do is go to gammatree.com to get yourself started and read all about the great things that they do for homes and businesses and municipalities around the area. Gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. Lufthansa is expanding service between Frankfurt and St. Louis at a time when it's cutting flights between Frankfurt and airports in Europe. As of this week, Lufthansa boosting its St. Louis to Frankfurt service from 3 flights a week to 5 for the summer season, running through late October. Aviation analyst Mike Boyd tells KMOX's Michael Calhoun the airline wouldn't be adding flights here without the numbers to back it up.
Lufthansa averaging 94% load factors out of St. Louis. What does that tell you?
That's why they're adding a 5th flight. If you're 94%, remember, that doesn't mean there's 66% of your seats that are empty. There's 6% of the seats they probably couldn't sell due to weight and balance and other issues. So they were full.
Boyd says they must be confident St. Louisans will buy those tickets.
Is it a big deal in light of everything that's going on that they stuck with the plan to up it to 5 days a week from St. Louis?
Well, it clearly shows they have, some data to show that St. Louis is worth it. Right now, they are hurting with fuel. Right now, they are hurting with an inability to feed as many people over their hub at Frankfurt. So the fact that they're going to up it at St. Louis is a real good sign for St. Louis.
Some across the state in Kansas City are wondering why us and not them. Boyd doesn't sugarcoat his answer.
I see some shade coming from Kansas City. They just built their whole new terminal there, and they seem a little sore that they don't have, that St. Louis has Heathrow and Frankfurt, and Kansas City doesn't have anything. What would you say to Kansas Cityans about the dynamic and why St. Louis has these flights?
St. Louis really has a much stronger industrial base within 100 miles. That's why. It's real simple. Just take a look at a map, look across the river, look up the river and down the river. You've got a lot more business space there than Kansas City has. Nothing wrong with Kansas City. It's just not as strong a business market as St. Louis.
Meantime, British Airways recently launched Flight is St. Louis's first nonstop link to the United Kingdom in more than 2 decades and its first to Heathrow. It's now 8:29.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched a spot in the playoffs and have earned dome field advantage. That's right, Battlehawks fans. Playoff football is returning to St. Louis. Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m., the Battlehawks host a home playoff game right here in the Dome. And we need Battlehawks Nation louder than ever. Sharpen your wings, lock in, and let's finish the mission. Get your tickets today at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's 8:30. Let's check the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still have a lot of volume on North 270, Megan. This traffic report's a service of Scott Credit Union, but it's, I guess I call it approaching Big Bend now up to Ladue. That's the busiest part. Eastbound 64 Prospect through Lake St. Louis Boulevard, still heavy out west, and it's bogged down east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 delays right around the Parkway. Westbound 64 from the Science Center, I'll say Hampton to Hanley is slow. Eastbound 70 still have delays east of Zembel through Fifth Street. It's bumper to bumper through there. They're reporting a crash eastbound 44 near Pacific. I'm not seeing any delays, but they did just call out emergency crews for that. And downtown, we have that roadwork slowdown. Eastbound 5570 bogged down from Exchange pretty much all the way through 111. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we're going to have a sunny day. It's going to be pleasant with lower humidity and a high of 82 degrees. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 59. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow with a high of 83. And as we head later into the work week, sunny with some clouds Thursday, very warm in the afternoon with a high of 87. Pretty much the same on Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, very warm. A thunderstorm around in the afternoon, a high of 87. And then on Saturday, mostly cloudy, warm and humid. Showers and thunderstorms possible once again with a high of 84. Right now we have sunny skies, 67 degrees in Florissant, 70 in St. Peters, 66 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
Erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
It's now 8:33. It's been a while since you've visited the Hill. Its landscape has been changing, and now the neighborhood is considering a historic designation to preserve the character.
The tight-knit Italian-American community was established back in the 1800s by Italian immigrants. St. Louis Alderman Matt Devote represents that area and joined KMOX's Chris and Amy.
The neighborhood is looking at is something called a local historic district. And I think it does have the potential to be very challenging. And it can be challenging for I think the reason that Amy kind of inferred, which is when you think of the Hill, you think of its area, its culture.
But in recent years, property owners have torn down the little long and narrow homes known as shotguns and replaced them with significantly larger two-story houses costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this isn't sitting well with the longtime residents who want to preserve the character of the neighborhood. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
8:35, time for your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The White House says it will cut tariffs on farm and construction equipment such as harvesters and forklifts. Import taxes will drop to 15%. Foreign companies could qualify for a lower 10% rate if the equipment contains at least 85% U.S. steel or aluminum. The Trump administration is hoping this will boost investment in the industrial economy. The recent rally for stocks taking a break this morning. Stock futures are heading for a lower open after the S&P 500 hit a record high yesterday. And Apple is trying to solve an awkward issue that reveals itself when you're out to dinner with your buddies. The tech giant is said to be planning a new service for the iPhone that will let users split bills for group meals or other events. Sources tell us the feature will allow users to photograph a receipt, assign items to different people, and generate payment requests. Apple is said to be planning to announce the offering as early as next week at its Worldwide Developers Conference. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Tom Ackerman, long homestand for the ball club, and it's a great time to crack open an ice-cold Budweiser. I love the fact that Budweiser is 150 years old, and so is Major League Baseball. You know who else is celebrating a big birthday this summer? America. 250th for the United States, and Budweiser celebrating that as well with patriotic cans. You can check it all out on their website or the favorite place you have where you buy Budweiser. You can get those patriotic cans, patriotic merch as well on the website, Budweiser.com. Budweiser is the king of beers and has been for 150 years. Clean, crisp, ice cold, and refreshing. That St. Louis made lager is the best. Budweiser, the king of beers, the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball for the last 150 years. Crack open a Bud. This Bud's for you.
Join KMOX and Community American Credit Union for a free evening of fun as they celebrate the grand opening their new De Beers branch June 4th from 5 till 7 p.m. It'll be a great time. You could win swag from the big ATM, the Amazing Things machine, meet Cardinals alumni, get a photo with Fred Bird, plus free food, entertainment, and more. And a chance to come on out and say hi to Chris Ranchi from the Chris and Amy Show. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The state of Florida has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman, claiming the company knowingly released and aggressively marketed ChatGPT to the public while concealing serious risks. Immigrant detainees across at least 33 states allege in court documents that the government is failing to provide them with adequate medical care. And the Centers for Disease Control reporting an increase in tick-related emergency room visits. Let's head to traffic a little bit early and see what's happening out on the roads for you this morning. Looks like there may still be some backups out there. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, mainly just slowdowns, Megan. So that's okay. But we still have heavy traffic. North 270 approaching Tesson Ferry, most of the way to Gravois, right just north of Big Bend, all the way up to Ladue. It's slow. Eastbound 64, east of Prospect and through to almost 364 is still pretty busy. And you've still got that slow stuff from Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 still bogged down to the Parkway. Westbound 64, more of a solid backup. Approaching Hampton, headed out to Big Bend. It looks like we have either a crash or a stall. I can't see it right now. And then eastbound 70, you've got stop-and-go pockets from Zumbel headed up to the Blanchette Bridge. And on the Illinois side, you still got that roadwork delay. It's eastbound 5570 approaching 203, and it goes pretty much past 111. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a sunny and pleasant day today. Lower humidity today, so a high of 82 degrees. Clear skies tonight, an overnight low of 59. We'll see plenty of sunshine again tomorrow with a high of 83. And then it's going to be warmer on Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 87. By Friday, we could see a thunderstorm pop up in the afternoon. Otherwise, a mix of sun and clouds, a high of 87. Right now, we have sunshine, 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. Nearly 100 years ago, members of the St. Louis community had to decide if they would buy into Nazi ideology. A new exhibition opening at the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum next week explores how people in this region chose either to support or resist extremism. With me now, Amy Mormon, Director of Archives and Collections at the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum. Amy, thanks for joining me this morning.
Yes, thank you for having me.
When you talk about this period of history, how often are people surprised that it hits so close to home?
I think people are very surprised. This is a topic I think that people, mostly associate, obviously, with specifically in Europe, and they don't realize that it was something that is very close to home here in St. Louis.
Amy, what was happening here in the 1930s as the Nazi movement took root in Europe?
Well, of course, here in St. Louis, we are in the United States in general. We were in the midst of the Great Depression, and I think just in general, the early Nazi Party platform had a lot of different aspects that to some people were appealing, unfortunately. They talked a lot about social welfare right off the bat, and obviously it was still a very authoritarian, a very nationalistic platform and extremely anti-Semitic, but there were aspects that some people found appealing in that.
I'm thinking of the time, nowadays messages get everywhere across the globe almost instantaneously because, of our digital lives. That was not the case in the 1930s. So how did the Nazi message spread from Europe to the United States?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And that's something that is something that we found very interesting when we were researching for this exhibit. So the Nazis were very prolific in their propaganda. They actually were sending people over here, specifically students we found at the University of Missouri. There were exchange students who came over and were here specifically to kind of spread the message about how great things were in Germany. We also, there was the German consulate here in St. Louis who was, promoting their ideology, trying to influence the newspapers here and all kinds of different things. So,
Amy, I know your research, for this exhibition is focused on the St. Louis area, but do you know, were there other Midwest cities that were experiencing some of the same things?
Yeah, it was pretty widespread, I believe. I know Chicago, especially, there was some issues there as well. And I'm assuming others as well. We were obviously focused on St. Louis. Most of the information for this exhibit came right out of our own collections, which are focused on St. Louis.
Let's talk about that. Where does your documentation for this come from?
So all of the original artifacts that will be on display in the exhibit come right from our own archives and collections. We did, of course, research in other local and regional archives to get additional stories, such as the Missouri Historical Society, Concordia Theological Institute, both right here in St. Louis. But for the most part, everything is from our own collections.
When we look at, what was being discussed, how did these ideas of extremism and anti-Semitism manifest here in St. Louis neighborhoods?
So there were some organizations such as the German American Bund and Friends of New Germany. There's a large German American immigrant population in St. Louis. So there were lots of organizations. Not all of them were pro-Nazi, but those two specifically were pro-Nazi organizations. None of these organizations were the majority of citizens. The German American Bund, I think at its height, had about 100 members, but they, had meetings. They were trying to promote these ideas. And then we found some incidents of people, handing out pamphlets just kind of in people's mailboxes. In 1937, there was actually the German American Bund had a Nazi rally in Forest Park. So there were, ways that they were sort of trying to promote these ideas.
Is there any evidence of violence or other, hate actions related to this in the 30s?
We didn't really come across any evidence of violence. It was really just more, the sort of promotion of these hateful ideas.
What documentation or letters do you have maybe from people in St. Louis at this time who may have been on the other side of this and how it made them feel?
Yeah, so that actually for me was the most interesting part of researching for this exhibition. We have figures, well-known figures at the time, such as Rabbi Ferdinand Isserman, who was the rabbi at Temple Israel. He traveled to Germany 3 times in the 1930s, as early as 1933, and he was writing very early on, kind of denouncing the Nazi regime and warning about how dangerous it was. And then we also have people like Fred Botker, who was the commander of the local American Legion. He actually infiltrated the German American Bund and went to their meetings and was writing letters. We have a collection of his letters where he was kind of exposing what was going on at these meetings and naming names of who was in this organization and just kind of trying to kind of expose what was happening there. So these are really interesting examples of, people who are resisting what was happening.
What warnings does this period in history in St. Louis present for us today?
I think just the idea of, the dangers of extremism. The exhibit, we actually do bring it right up to the present day. We talk about examples of recent acts of, anti-Semitic vandalism and that kind of thing. Like, this isn't something that is, unfortunately, isn't just a matter of historical record. And so just the idea of that there were people back then that were resisting and that it's important to kind of to stay aware that it's still happening.
So the exhibition is Nazis Next Door. St. Louis Faces Nazism in the 1930s. It starts a week from Friday and runs through the end of January at the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum. And you can find more information at stlholocaustmuseum.org. Amy Moorman, the curator there at Kaplan, thank you so much for your time this morning here on KMOX.
Thank you.
Coming up on Total Information AM, Maria Kina's been looking at the cost of power going up in both Illinois and Missouri. She talks with Abby Foster of the Retail Energy Advancement League coming up next here on KMOX.
I'm Andrew Stolz, and this is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Tom Ackerman here. I've been talking about McKelvey Homes for a while. McKelvey Homes, Missouri's oldest home builder, going back to 1898. They're the ones who've been doing it a long, long time. And they're breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon called Strawberry Farms. First foundations are in, display home opening soon, walking trails, a lake, a berry patch honoring the land's history as strawberry fields. That's why it's called Strawberry Farms. A private playground, Fort Zumwalt schools, a fresh start in a great location. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri. Look, I've worked with Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, long enough to know when Jim and McKelvey decide to build something, they do it right. Visit McKelveyhomes.com to learn more. It's a great website, easy to navigate. McKelveyhomes.com to schedule a tour. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, move up to McKelvey.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Ameren, Illinois increased their electric rates this week. Ameren, Missouri has added a new fuel adjustment rate. KMOX's Maria Kina has more.
Retail Energy Advancement League, or REAL, tells KMOX there will be no relief this summer from high electric costs because Missouri's lawmakers failed to pass even one piece of legislation that could have made energy bills more affordable. Abby Foster says one of the bipartisan legislative bills looked at eliminating monopolies and allowing for competition.
They have dozens and dozens of lobbyists whose full-time job is to talk to these legislators to try and convince them that the monopoly is the right way to go. And it's very hard to compete against that. Even though we have a really robust coalition of advocates who advocated for this legislation, could not compete with the investor-owned utilities and the number of lobbyists in the Army that they had convincing legislators to oppose competition, even in a state like Missouri.
Now we have to go through a whole nother summer now, up until January when they go back into session, for people to incur these huge electric rates, still dealing with the monopolies. In between that time, any recommendations what the people should do, the consumers?
They can certainly reach out to their legislator, but there are elections happening. So use your vote. Let your legislator know that this is something that you are voting on. And you're very appropriate to note that this is kind of a time crunch time for Missouri, and that you have to wait now for this entire another period to go through before the legislative session next year. And during that same period, you're facing this challenge of the investor-owned utilities are going before the Utility Commission and asking for rate increases, getting approval for costs to build power plants, to charge ratepayers for the cost of building those power plants. And the longer that you go with the utilities getting approvals for these, ratepayers are going to continue to pay those prices, and they just don't need to. There are states that allow competition where it's private companies building power plants. Ratepayers don't pay for those companies to secure finances to build them, and they just choose their supplier for the most affordable, reliable electricity. And so the longer you wait, the worse position Missouri is going to be, even for ratepayers and for their businesses and economy.
And Abby, we've seen over the months and weeks, residents, citizens standing up to their local government with regards to these data centers.
Yeah, if the legislation were to pass, it would allow the data centers to be able to buy their electricity from the market, or to be able to build their own power plants and self-supply, which is what they've asked to do. But in a monopoly state like Missouri, they have to use the utility or get some type of special exemption. And so it makes it really difficult for large customers to be able to have the freedom to even absorb those costs and take them off of ratepayers. So this gives them lots of flexibility. It takes the risk off of the rest of ratepayers so that you can build your economy without it being built on the back of the rest of the ratepayers. It's the individual large customer that absorbs those costs. And a competitive market has all of the risk on those individual companies rather than the rest of ratepayers.
Seems so unfair for the little guy who's trying to make it the best they can right now, and everything is just not in their favor. The price of gasoline, utilities, it's all skyrocketing, and I don't see where there's going to be an end to it either.
Agreed. And it's interesting because we have the data to look back on. In the states that did this in the late 90s, you have 25 years of data to look back on. And what we've seen in those states is that rates have increased at a slower rate, and then the states that have allowed monopolies to continue. What's most interesting about it is that in those states, they've actually built more power plants, but their rates have maintained and have not increased at the fast rate that states like Missouri have. But Missouri has built very little new power plants. And now Missouri, for the first time in 15, 20 years, has to build a significant amount of new power plants and new power generation. And so this increase of rates is just the tip of the iceberg. They just got approval in the last 7 months, over $5 billion worth of new investments that haven't even touched ratepayer bills yet. So ratepayers in Missouri, if they're an investor-owned utility customer, can expect to see their bills to continue to increase significantly as those approved programs that they're going to be building for the power generation start to be implemented and are showing up on customer bills.
Do I understand that they're going to go for another rate increase again this year?
Yes, they have multiple projects and multiple rate increases, and that the $5 billion is just for building power plants. That doesn't include substations, transmission lines, energy efficiency programs, or anything else. That's just power plants that they need to build.
I hope that citizens understand the importance of this and what they need to do to lift their voices to stop this from happening, because this sounds to me like this is just going to snowball and get to the point where people can't even pay their electric bill anymore.
If anyone has any questions, or if they want to use a form that we have to easily contact their legislator, they can go to supportenergychoice.com/Missouri.
Maria Akina, KMOX News.
Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, we've got our weekly visit with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, where he analyzes the top legal headlines of the week. And then you'll hear from Jim Rowland. He is with Visit Missouri, our tourism arm. He's going to talk about the tourism that the World Cup is going to bring to the state of Missouri.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
Psychologists say a trait like entitlement can trap people in a perpetual loop of emotional distress. A new study from Case Western Reserve University maps out a